millennial that got called a conspiracy theorist by all the normies about a decade and a half ago, right?
I came knocking on your door 1,000,000 times and you laughed at me.
All this stuff coming to light from the Epstein files is horrifying, to the point where I'm even hoping some of it is not true. I mean, there's obviously a bunch of bullshit out there too. What I find crazy isn't the fact that we now know for a fact that Prince Andrew sweats. No. What I find worrying, all the people calling into TV shows saying that Prince Andrew should not be put on trial. So yeah, they're saying Prince Andrew should not face trial, should not be shipped back to America to face justice for what he's done, saying he won't do the victims any good. Who the hell are you to speak on behalf of the victims? Furthermore, he's not a member of the royal family anymore. And also, in this day and age, what does it even mean to be a member of the royal family? Like, historians in the room, please tell me, what makes the royal family royal? What exactly does that mean? To you, define a royal family. Why are they royal? What work did they do? Do they descend from King Arthur? Okay, well, fuck him too. What made him king? How did we even have a royal family? Especially in a country that's secular, because royalty is supposed to be deemed as somebody, in most cases, they're the ruler because it's ordained by God or something, right? It's not even like an empire where at least you know you kicked some ass to become the ruler. They're just blue blood, apparently. Even Christians don't really believe in that concept. Why are they treated so differently? Please tell me what's AI, the interview with Epstein where he gloats about the level of pedophile he is.
What are you, class 3 sexual predator?
That has to be AI.
Tier 1.
Because he's gloating.
Was tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm
the lowest.
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest.
The only thing I found interesting about it was how they said they want absolutely no black people. And I said, yes. Like I always say, representation isn't always important. There's some things we should just leave people to. For one, I'm glad. I always tell people, racism can save your life, right? I am so glad that this was intertribal warfare among white people. Now, from now on, nobody can tell me anything about black on black crime. And then we find out that Epstein paid to have bits of cloth from the Holy Kaaba in Mecca delivered to him. And, I see Christians gloating about this because they're trying to say that somehow it proves that our faith is demonic. Now, my reply to a lot of Christians is this. You guys say that your religion has to be true because Satanists always attack you and desecrate your artifacts. Well, keep that same energy now. Probably the first time an actual occultic, satanic thing has been exposed and the faith they were attacking was us. So by your logic, come on now, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, welcome, fellow Nigerians and people all over the world. My apologies for being a little bit sketchy with my connection. I'm in Nigeria, so it's a little bit, I'm trying to get my bearings because I know there are some Nigerians that have good connection out there. We are beginning to have fiber optic connections, but I don't have fiber optics yet. When I get it, then the connection will be smoother. So, but thank you all for joining us here today. And the conversations we are to have, obviously, I'm not going to talk as much because I don't have that much bandwidth. It's clear. I don't have the bandwidth to talk. If I talk too much, boom, I'll be off the stage. So, but for the spirit of the conversation, obviously, is not to, injure people, offend people, or cause division, or discriminate against any race, gender, anything. The purpose of our conversation is to help elevate our knowledge and consciousness to be able to resolve issues peacefully and as respectfully as possible, as the world demands today. That is why we choose this path. The path of the world is that we have to figure out a way to resolve our problems. When you look for a way to resolve your problems, you often find it. It's when people don't look for a way, and that's when you don't find it. You can't find something you're not looking for because you're deliberately avoiding it, even when it's in front of you. You pretend as if it's not there. So that is the point of our conversation. We are trying to, keep uh, keep it civil, keep it polite. Not necessarily too polite. Sometimes some things, deserve the passion out there. But the purpose, the intention is very important that people understand. It's not to divide. I would say things that people will find a little bit offensive because they're not used to it. Don't take offense. It's just a way of trying to get us to realize certain things. And I'm not perfect. I have ways of putting words that are often quite offensive to some people. So, but it doesn't mean I won't speak. I will speak knowing full well that I don't have any malice. And I hope anyone that comes on the panel doesn't have malice against fellow Nigerians, fellow tribal, fellow African, fellow humans generally. We don't want enmity between peoples. The world demands that we work together, we figure out our problems. If we don't, there will be judgment, as they say. Always judgment will always come. Okay, so the news this week has been very, very, even for me, a bit traumatizing. Has been very, very disturbing. Like, it's so disturbing that even when I'm not listening to the news, it still crosses my mind. Some of the things you hear, you can't unhear them, you can't unsee certain things. And I thought it was bad, but we're talking about a totally different realm here, bad. We are talking about eating baby intestine bad. Not just the intestine, eating the physics is intestine bad. We are talking about people that are used to doing certain things, that they specialize in extracting certain chemicals or hormones, whatever you want to call it, from the human body, that they harvest it from people. Some of the descriptions are so vivid, it's scary, that it's like it's a horror movie. I don't know how human beings got to this point, but we have to somehow find a way to shed it. The people that do these things, they have to be held accountable and have to be made never to be part of our society again. Because to what end do they do these things? Is it because they want to have a lot of power, have a shared common atrocity that they commit, taboo that they commit together, so it binds them together in shame and secrecy, so that they can carry out their actions whenever they need to? Let's say they have influence over each other, because that's why the world doesn't make sense sometimes. Because the key things that influence people is not happening in front of everybody, it's happening behind the scenes. That's why the world doesn't make sense. Funny enough, even when things are going bad, Africans are not even mentioned. Nigeria, I'm really disappointed. Nigeria is not even factored at all. It's like we don't even factor in the game. And we have to figure out why that is. It's a bit of a shame that Nigeria doesn't even show up on any of the... We'll see. Maybe there's still 3 million documents to come out. You never know. You might find a passenger there doing some crazy stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how Nigerians will tolerate it if that happens. They find that the passenger has been up to no good, some shenanigans with Epstein. That would be funny to see. But I would be surprised if Nigeria doesn't show up. I really would be surprised. And we gathered that they take people from different continents. All this adoption that you keep seeing on the continent, when they adopt your child, you don't know what they are doing with them. Ew. Some of the things are here. Some of the things I've read on those documents. I even went to the department, the Justice Department of America, to download some of these documents. Some of the things you see there, it's really strange, because this is one man wielding so much power. One man doing all these things. And this is the most seismic event. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister of the UK may actually lose his job because of this. Because this Epstein man During the financial crisis of 2008, when bankers were busy taking a lot of money still, they caused that crash, and people were saying they should take their bonuses away from them, and decisions were being made within the government. There was this top government official that was reporting everything to Epstein. And then Epstein even asked him to threaten some other government officials. This is some crazy stuff. And the media is in denial. This is why I say these channels are very important. You should be supporting these channels because we are like you. We don't have any stake in your business. We don't have any stake in their hiding stuff, because the media in UK now, the way they are spinning it now is that Epstein is working for Russia. That is the distraction now. Epstein is working for Russia, that they've got blackmail material against Trump. That's why Trump does everything Russia wants. But the truth is, when you look at that document, how many times Epstein was clearly beholden to the Israelis. That's where his real loyalty lies. So it's obvious. All the key people surrounding him are linked to Israelis. How can that not be obvious? But yet the Western media are trying to spin it to say it's Russia, knowing full well who the people that are doing it. And Boom Boom Ray did say something about, oh, Israel is controlling America. Then I said, yes, they are controlling America, but if the Americans want their power back, they will take it back. But he seems to misunderstand that statement somehow, for me saying that Israel is not in control of America. That is not the statement. Are you struggling to understand nuances? The nuance is that, yes, Israel has a lot of influence over America, but if America wants its power back, they will get it back, like they are doing now. What do you think is going on now? They've done it before. History suggests that they do this repeatedly, and the Israelis will go, and whatever the Israelis or Jews, whatever you want to call them, they will go on to get more power again later on. They will purge them, and they will get power again. They will purge them. That's to be fair. That has been the sequence in history. This is why you have a lot of persecution against Jews over time. Every time it keeps happening in cycles. But if I am wrong, how did I know the cycles? How did I know this pattern? But you don't seem to understand where I'm coming from. Whenever I talk about stuff to some people, when I say these things, I say it from the point of view that yes, they have influence now, but the true power, it still belongs to those Europeans. It still belongs to them, because when they seek it back, they will get it back. Watch what happens now. Watch the space. The document is coming out. Let's see how they will spin it and spin it. Let's say they will spin it to Russia. You see whether people will buy it. People will not buy it until they pin Israel down for it. For what Israel has done to influence so much American and British life. The Prime Minister might actually lose his job. Peter Mandelson may even face criminal charges. His lordship, I think he was a lord, at least definitely a peer, and they are talking about revoking it from him, because what he was doing was sharing information with a foreigner that is linked to intelligence organizations, that also information that is supposed to be secret. That's because this is information that governments hold. It's not something like, let's say government wants to cancel certain projects. You don't release it, because if you go and share with somebody, then they will go to the stock market and bet against that company and make a whole heap of money from it. Mandelson was sharing information continuously with these Epstein, repeatedly, happily too, not just repeatedly, happily doing it, because everybody that works with him feel like they are at the top of the world. They feel like they are at the top of the world. That's how it is. And these things matter to Nigerians, because if you don't know how the world works, Where do you start from? You don't even know who your leaders travel to. When your leaders leave your country, Tinubu now, I think they say he's been in overseas more than he's been in Nigeria in January. You don't know where he's going. You know, they are talking about parties where they carry out some unspeakable things. And then there is this other sci-fi area. This man, I think Epstein, here, say whatever you like. One man has been able to do so much in so little time. You have to respect that. So let me see whether I can play some of these clips so that some of you can see and hear some of what this man is going to say about it.
Democrats of doing the very same thing that they themselves were doing, which is one of the oldest tricks in the book. You accuse someone else of what you're doing. Like, who smelt it, dealt it, but pedophilia. It's nuts. Anyway, in other news, the red pill is falling apart.
I hate everyone equally.
Andrew Tate is now on an apology tour, which I think is fucking pathetic. How do you go from what color is your Bugatti to winners win, losers lose to now he's doing an apology tour?
I want to be very careful here because I don't want to deflect too heavily.
Him, Sneeko, and a bunch of other guys like that broccoli-head motherfucker and some other loser were all on a bus. Like, these are grown men. Like, at least two of them are in their 40s.
I don't want to be blaming other people, etc.
You know, among dropping several gems, like going on dates with women is gay. I mean,
a whole bunch of songs were played that night, none of which I requested.
And they dropped Kanye West's least played song, Double H. I'm not going to say what the song's called, but you know what the song's called, right?
I don't know what the song's called.
Do you know the song?
I know the song.
But yeah, so Double H, Kanye West's underappreciated song. I've never heard it. Nobody around me would play that. You know, no matter what your opinion on masculinity is, there is so much wrong with these fucking assholes. I don't understand why young men, of all people to look up to, it's these guys. Let's just look at someone like Andrew Tate or Myron Gaines. These two guys contradict everything they say. They'll say that, okay, masculinity, as a man, the one thing you have is your word. You stick to your word. Andrew Tate is a supposed converted Muslim who still gambles, still drinks. They talk about chastity and how women should be decent and modest. But what kind of women do you always see them around? Isn't that hypocritical?
Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
Who are they always around? They're always around those same low-value women.
You know, how honest should I be out of 10?
I want you to be honest.
You want to be honest?
Yeah, go on.
Even if you say he's not guilty of people trafficking, this guy literally profits from pornography and exploitation of sexual images of women. But that's the guy you want to take life advice from? The guy told you that you should be a warrior, you should fight. Did you see his boxing match with Chase Lamore?
I'm 40 years old. I'm 10 years out the ring.
He's the first guy I've seen shadow box and he's shadow won.
He's younger than me. He's 20 kilo bigger than me. He's more active than me. I didn't fight a pussy. I fought the champ.
And Tate, and these guys all dance terribly to this song. Of course, I had the volume down. So while dancing to this song, later they get attacked. A lot of people call him anti-Semitic for playing that song. And they all conveniently scapegoat Sneeko and say that he played the song, even though it's very clear that he did not. It was the Fresh and Fit guys that played the song.
Anyone who calls himself Sneaky. Hi, my name's Sneaky.
All right, so now let's move on. I think we're going to move on from that. So anybody that wants to talk about, this Epstein palaver, they can go ahead and talk about it I don't want to hear anybody come here and tell me that it's a good idea to, for America to come into Nigeria, because it's so bad idea. It's like, if you say that, it betrays the fact that you don't truly understand life. I'll repeat that again. If you say that, it betrays the fact that you don't truly understand life. Because life is not something, you don't give away your ability to survive. You don't outsource it to other people. If they choose to help you because you are worthy, it's a different thing. But to say, oh, we can't do it, especially when you can. Especially when you can. Do you know why people were laughing at Nigeria a lot because of ISO speed? Because they know Nigeria is definitely capable of taking care of itself, Nigeria can be able to, Nigeria can, let me put it this way, can figure out how to get their people good jobs, figure out how to get the economies going, figure out how to solve electricity problem, figure out how to industrialize. But instead, there are people on the street begging him for money, saying, show me love. That is what people don't like. And when you keep saying that some other country should come and save you for something you can solve, that is so, I don't know how to describe it, it's so pathetic. Something you can solve. If it takes you being able to bother your government, fight your government to do the job, that is better than asking another foreign entity that you have no control, zero control over. At least your government, you can trouble them a little bit. You can't even trouble America a little bit. You have zero control over them, and you tell them to come and do that for you because you think they are decent. What record told you that they are decent? You know, if it was true, you know, like angels in heaven, they come from heaven, they say they are nice, they bring good tidings, they bring blessings. If that was like, that's how America was, I can understand. But the data doesn't suggest that's how America is. Many countries, America has gone there and hollowed it out. The reasons why America does what it does, it's not because you welcome them. It's because they see something in you that makes you worthy of working with. America will not drop any valuable tool in Nigeria knowing how Nigerians are. Because tomorrow you could take it and go and give to the Chinese. Or you can give it to the Russians. Nigerians can betray anything for money. At least some of them. Clearly not everybody's like that. So I'll keep it at that. From that point of view of these American troops coming to Nigeria. However, I'm not sure why the topic of the attacks in Kwara this week did not show up on the title. That attack was so disturbing in the manner in which it unfolded. It's disturbing in the sense that this is well established. That if you don't have people on the ground, the terrorists will operate. When you have people on the ground, they cannot operate. This is another example that shows what I was saying was correct. I've been saying it over and over again. You have to have troops everywhere. If you have them everywhere, they won't come there. That is why when the troops were present in that village, these terrorists didn't show up. They didn't show up for weeks. They didn't come. They didn't come and do any attacks. Then the moment the soldiers left, then they came to attack. That is the problem. Tomorrow, some other place, they will call it the soldiers. They say we have been threatened that we are going to be attacked if we don't do certain things. Then the soldiers go there. Then the moment they leave again, they attack them. What are you going to do? The only solution is have people everywhere at all times for 5 straight years, if it need be. We have the people in that country. Believe in me, I see them. I see a lot of people that are working in Nigeria. They are not making a lot of money. And they don't have pensions. They don't have housing. They barely even have dignity on the side of the road. Begging for opportunities. Begging for you to patronize them. Nigerian government can say, hey, come here. I have work for you to do. Train them up and help them, use them to secure the country. How hard can that be? Yes, some people are all too happy to have foreigners come and help them. I don't know what to tell you. If that foreigner comes and does whatever they like to you, you deserve what you got. You fully deserve it. That's how I see it. So I'm going to stop rant. I'm surprised I'm able to rant on, given that Nigerian internet is very, very sketchy sometimes. So, but this one seems to be working quite okay so far. But when I get a good connection, then I'll be like everyone else in the UK. So let me bring some people in that like to make trouble all the time. I'll try to keep it small because it allows me to be online when it is small. When the connection starts demanding more bandwidth to keep me afloat. So except if the panel becomes wider, then I'll have to stand back, or at least go into only without camera on. Hopefully that will keep me up and going. He said, okay, let me read what Fidel is saying. To Nigeria, they send soldiers, they are just so that the communities will say soldiers were sent there. You are just so, oh, come on, I'm so dumb. What are you talking about? Some of all these people, I don't know. Everything, you just think there's an ulterior motive all the time. You see, if anybody is in position of power in Nigeria, yeah, right now, why would he have any interest in doing what you're talking about? Like, he sends soldiers just to show off. What is, how do you say that? They send the soldiers there because there was an alarm that they were going to be attacked there. They pull the soldiers probably from somewhere else. This is what they do. They move soldiers from somewhere else that was defended before, and they move it to another area that is about to be attacked. And if that area is not attacked, then they will return the soldier to maybe even somewhere else that was threatened again. They don't have enough people on the ground. It's extremely dangerous. You just think that, oh,
frozen.
We have enough people on the ground, so when the terrorists are about to attack, then they just remove the people, so that the terrorists will just kill innocent people. What does the government have to gain from that?
Did he go offline?
Can you hear me?
No, couldn't hear you. You were off.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes,
No,
you can.
no, I can hear you now.
Yes, you can.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you now. But you went completely off the screen, and nothing was shown. It was just
okay.
moving.
I'm glad you are here. Actually, I like a smaller panel like this. As long as it keeps flowing.
Well, I would advise you, since you can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, so I would advise you, maybe you want to put maybe 2-3 more people in. So if you go off, the show just does not completely die with just one person on. See what I'm saying? So even if you disappear like that, then people can carry on the conversation until you come back.
Yeah, but maybe you should look at. You know what I would say to you? Plan everything you've got to say that you've never had a chance to say. Whenever I drop out, you use your opportunity to say it to the people. So, but man, I know we align on this. Epstein issue. So, what do you make of the dump? Because I was a little bit traumatized by it. Actually, I expected things, but some of the stuff I heard, I think it went a little bit beyond what I expected. And this is
that's what everybody else
stuff. Come on, man. That's
and that's what people have been complaining and screaming about. And progressively, I think it's not. I think I know it's going to get worse. So there's going to be, when they start introducing the videos, when they start declassifying images, people are going to become sicker. And people are going to become more aware of how terrible all of these happenings are. So this is why the billionaires, the elite, the politicians involved, they're fighting tooth and nail to make sure it never gets revealed to the world. Because there's even sicker stuff, on the videos, the images. At least audios have started being revealed. But can you imagine seeing little little boys, little girls being raped by a gang of men. You know, people being eaten, people being sacrificed. And these are the things they point at.
On the words that
Others are.
there are young people watching.
Right, but well, young people, this is PG, this is not family. So for at this time,
give me 1
it's
second.
no. Give me 1 second. Let me finish, please.
No, I just want to show you. I want to show you guys something real quick.
Who's that?
This is
Ovier?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm trying to show you guys that there's more to life than
Yeah, sorry.
I took it back to and I tell you guys that I only fuck with the rich now,
Big baller.
This is where I am. This is see the classic cars that.
Right.
American classic cars, they seem to die in America. They don't go anywhere else.
This is from.
Oh shit, that's a Caddy. Is that a Chevy?
Like from the 60s and 70s. They do like classic car shows that they do. I know. I have to go inside this one.
Yeah, those are dope. There's a link.
It is. Oh, Escalade.
That's Escalade.
Escalade. This Chevy Impala.
Yeah, that's a Chevy.
All right, let me text you.
6 or 7 Chevy.
Let me test you from the outside and see, Bibi, what's this?
Why should we care about American cars, actually?
He's living his
You're in charge of your to Nigeria. You're in charge of your security.
I don't know what we should care. Maybe you want to go and find out innocent car models.
This is what
American old cars.
They are
not even modern.
This is what you are going to be seeing in 5 years.
And look at that. We are going to be driving old cars where we are going to be having driverless cars. Look at that.
That's what you are going to be driving.
Classics, you got to get the classics. They're going to be worth a lot in the future.
As appealing as sometimes they
imagine your next president by 2031. This is your presidential inauguration car by 2031.
Ovie, we're discussing something very serious, and you're showing us cars.
Let me take you. No. Let me take you what.
Is that your Pegolo disease or something? What's going on here?
No, this is what Obi will ride on when he win. This.
And look at that. If Obi ride on this one, Obi will never his life do something like that. So let's not disparage Obi's name. We will never do such thing. So, but let's get back to subject matter.
This is how Lagos Island will look like in 5 years. With this,
why not?
Good luck with that one.
Why not? There's nothing wrong with that.
Because America is in charge.
No, I don't have any issue with that.
Yes, this is what you are.
But I hope this one. I hope it's better than this one. Actually,
America.
I hope it's better than this one.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
China is better than this one.
You know, you that is from Bayelsa, Rivers. This is what Wike is going to do when he becomes president.
Have you seen the They don't even complete.
Oh, anyway,
Nigerians are struggling to do something well.
You can continue now. You can continue.
Oh, all right, thanks, boss.
Continue.
That's the boss. Thank you.
So, yeah, I think he has thrown us a little bit with all this.
Una see the America. Yeah. You're an American now. They show you're an American now. And overswitch.
See, the thing is, this is the dilemma people have right now. Actually, what Ovie did, the dilemma people have. People either want to carry on living their life normally the way they are doing, carry on like going to car shows and stuff like that. But at the same time, they are hearing that leaders are doing all these heinous things, like everywhere. They are all at it, from Europe, even Middle East has been found to be part of this. I don't know about the Indian connection.
In what capacity?
I think there was a prince that is been found to be part of that goes to the parties too.
Probably.
some top this thing. Yeah, I think Khashoggi's this dad showed up on it too. So quite
Yeah,
a
but
lot of
you have to remember all these people. Nigerians have shown up on it. There's at least 2 Nigerians that have shown up. It doesn't necessarily mean, yes, so it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody went on the island. Just because these people have just been linked that at some point they had interaction with him. Remember, he was the go-to guy in Washington. He had all the news about insider trading. To an extent, they even suspect that he rigged the lottery and won about, what, $85 million? Something like that. With his Zoro Trust. Yeah. He took the money with his Zoro Trust, I think $45 million. So he was the guy. He knew how everything ran. He knew who was doing what. He had everybody in compromising situations. So they were at his behest. You know, they were at his mercy to a lot of things. Everybody.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the Jide, a Nigerian Jide there. But the context I saw the Jide on the files is like he was just having an email about deals that they want to do.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily even Elon Musk was trying to get on the island. For some reason, they just didn't embrace him. For some reason, they were just probably looking at him like he's a dweeb, he's a weirdo. You know,
but we are not sure though. It's just the emails are him requesting. We are not sure that he didn't go.
We're not sure, yes, but from what we see right now, he wanted to go. Is my point. He wanted to, like he was practically begging. He was ready to do anything to get on the island, but they just wouldn't let him. See how they throw the invitation to everybody else and be like, "Oh, we're doing this. Come through. Oh, I want to bring you here." But he wanted to go, and they just like, no, you know, he wasn't in the in crowd. You're white, but you're not white. You're South African white. You know what I mean? So.
Because the sense that he's got a snitching energy. After all,
yes,
because on Trump.
Yes, because they figure that he is volatile when he gets angry. I think that's part of the reason too. Like he could get crazy with his mouth when he gets upset. But this is what I want to ask you. Knowing everything that's happening now, and everybody agreeing now that it was done, all of this was done at the behest and the request of the Mossad and the Israeli government, the Shin Bet and everybody else, Israeli intelligence. What do you think? And I know the answer. I think to a large extent, I think most analysts would agree with me on the answer I'm seeking from you. But what do you think was the ultimate goal of all of this? What do you think they were trying to achieve by compromising people to this disgusting and despicable degree?
Their goal is to total control.
Great
of the
question,
West.
my brother. Great question.
Not just the West, all the Western Hemisphere nation, they wanted to control it. And they succeeded, by and large, in controlling vast majority of it. However, I think their grip is slipping now because of the time.
Oh, he's frozen again.
Come, this is your name too long, so I'll call you baby. Baby Arabi.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know say last on this issue.
Right.
You know how we started. Now we're not we'll come to one point. Now all of us will see it clear. I don't know how soon it's going to be.
Right.
The question you asked.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, but I can hear you now.
Where's Ovi?
Yeah. So what makes me to take the side I'm on, right? Is because of that. What is the part of the question you asked?
Yes, you are on now.
There is a book called Underground Empire.
Right.
Now, your house, like your house here, for instance, how do you get water everywhere?
Through the taps, pipes.
Through the plumbing system, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Forefather used one word when he was doing his intro. No, when he was on Dr. Dameji, fiber optics, right?
Mhm.
So after the Second World War, what the United States did was literally to plumb the whole war. They underrailed the whole war in terms of information. They have so the main fight underneath that is what the Chinese are also. The Chinese were able to actually took themselves out of the board. They want to rewrite down. That's where the power is. So what am I trying to say? America listens to everybody on this planet Earth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So now, if that is the case, are you not saying that it is the Israeli government are solely in charge of are the one using Epstein?
Okay, so it's two-pronged. I see where you're going. It's two-pronged. It is American intelligence, right? Because there are bigger powers controlling the government, for example. So higher powers than what we see, the CIA, the FBI, things like that. Well, more like the NSA and things like that, right?
Yep.
They are higher powers, right? But these groups, even the shadowy ones, are also being controlled and beholden to the Israeli government. So the thing is, we're not saying they don't exist in the United States. What we're saying is they've been infiltrated by a foreign government. So they are controlling the United States by proxy using the US thing. Yeah.
I see that, but okay, see where I understand what you just explained. Now, not that I disagree with, but I'm saying since they are the higher power, then if you look at what is happening, right? You agree that the world order is being rewritten by America. Like this is another phase we are entering to in Chad, and they want to be at the forefront of it. So,
right.
How do you think they will succeed if they don't have a plan like this?
Yeah, but again,
you get everybody to those you identify that they will be stubborn, right? That's one. Two, but I believe that from your own part, I believe that the Israeli see the bigger picture and they position themselves, right, to use that to get their own, to further their own interests too. Which is, if you look at the situation of Nigeria, the way the boots on ground, if you pay attention to the Muslim communities in Northern, they are not, people that matters, not the, they just retrieve and, right? Because even with the midst of chaos, there's the advantage that they can take advantage of and advance their future in the future using the same boot on ground. So that's what I'm, I kind of.
No, I agree with you, but this is why I said. Okay, they are controlling the United States. I get what you're saying. The U.S. government wants it to happen, which would also go back to what forefathers' argument would be that, well, when the United States wants to get its power back, it would, right?
Yep.
But what we also have to understand is people like myself and people like Scott Reeder and people like General Douglas McGregor and people of that nature, Wesley Clark, our positions are that a foreign entity is controlling both sides, both joysticks of the game, right? So while Israelis are controlling the Shin Bet and 8200 and the Mossad, they're also controlling U.S. intelligence. For example, look at what's going on now. We are about to start a war with Iran that has nothing to do with us in the United States.
Yep.
But it is obvious that the only reason this conflict that might become global, at the very least regional, is about to go down is because a foreign entity, Israel, wink, wink, being led by Netanyahu, is pushing for it. Not because Iran is a sort of existential threat to the United States or North America or even the Northern Hemisphere. Not at all. But because Israel wants to control that region and it says, America, you're going to go destroy Iran on our behalf. You're going to put people there, and this is why you're going to do it. And this is where we find ourselves.
Based on that, and I saw one of your comment section, comment on the comment section, Dr. Damiji, where you said that they will interfere, Israeli will interfere in our election. So
100%.
On that premise, right? How long will you think it's going to take before we start seeing expose from the Epstein file that has to do with Nigerians in terms of those that matter? Because
if they
that's one. Two, Iran and the foreign invasion. What do you think the Turkey is doing too? Because I don't think, because people are not factoring the power that the Turkey have now based on their region and what the negotiating power and all that kind of a thing. Despite, yes, what you focus on part of Israel, as Israel want to take advantage of. So is Turkey. Turkey has because Turkey, if you ask me, without the America on the back of Israel, Turkey is the regional power of the as of today. They have the regional power. So that contention is there. So because they are kind of a little bit ahead to be a regional hegemony, I don't think they will just stand and look America go all in Iran without any ramification, but knowing that they are in charge of the security architecture of the
well, let me start with the Turkey one before I get to Nigeria. The reason Turkey is I don't think Turkey wants to interfere in Nigeria. Again, I might be wrong, right? But
with 100 million Muslims, of course, they are into
Turkey is more secular, but this is where I'm going. I think Turkey has more interest in what is happening in its background. It has the PKR, the Kurdish rebels to deal with. It has the conflict happening in Syria, which it has lost territories to deal with. So if Israel, for example, continues on this trajectory of a greater Israeli project, what will happen is right now they've taken up onto Damascus, right? They're just right there, the Golan Heights. They've taken the Golan Heights. These are places where Turkey used to have an influence. Right.
The Jew of the whole territory too.
Right. So they've taken the Golan Heights. Even in fact, Trump called it Israeli territory last week, just this past week. He called it Israeli territory. The more Turkey keeps losing territories like in Kurdistan and in Syria, its influence wanes. If its influence keeps waning, then the Kurds become more of a threat to it. So Turkey has more of that battle to worry about than what is happening all the way in Africa. Not saying they're not going to try to influence Africa.
I'm not tying them to Africa. I'm just saying.
Right.
They have, I think they have a say to what goes on in Iran, between Iran and America within that region as they stand.
Right.
They have a role to play.
Yeah. So with the Nigerian issue and why I say we should be wary about interference. If you understand these things, the play is already on the ground. All of a sudden, all these missionaries are popping up right after Netanyahu basically said he didn't even say basically, he verbatim said he was going to send soldiers to Nigeria to help in the war against terror. We didn't ask for that. And myself and forefathers went back and forth on this, on what interference meant, right? If you remember, in fact, that's why I changed my name to Forefathers Interference. But what these leaders usually do, before they do something, they give you a hint that we're about to do this thing. So if we think, I would assume, given the fact that President Trump praised Nigeria's first lady a few days ago.
That's my next question. Who do you think is responsible for that connection?
I'll get there. But I would assume that the president of Nigeria has somehow cut a deal with the United States, like you always say, essentially, once they start praising you, they've sold you out. So I would assume they've cut some kind of deal, and Nigeria's 2027 election is going to be very interesting because Israel is fancying itself some kind of world power player, and it has seen how other countries influence the world. United States, Russia, England, Canada, the same tactics they use: brutality, interference, and things of that nature, subversion. Subversion. And it is trying it is testing the waters in Somaliland by saying certain things, recognizing Somaliland's independence. Then it is also trying it in Nigeria. We're going to put people in Nigeria. We're going to set up a base here in Djibouti with the United States. We're coming next to Somaliland. They're going to interfere with our elections, and we have to be very, very prepared for that.
I think Tinubu is still their best option. I mean, with
24 hours is a very long time in politics.
I believe that, but just based on the move they are making so far,
right?
That's the Israeli move right there, the Christian move. Because that's their event. Right?
But if he puts up any resistance, which is where I was going actually, saying now we're seeing all these so-called missionaries popping up from different places. All of a sudden, these white people and this, I don't know what Alex Berry is, are coming up. They love Black Africans. Well, there's a lot of Black people in the United States. If you really want to help somebody, you ain't helping nobody in the South Side. There's a lot of homelessness. We got Skid Row. We got a lot of homelessness in New York. Ma'am Daniel's trying to get that under control. Why aren't you people taking care of that? All of a sudden, you in Africa inflaming the polity, dividing them by making certain divisive statements, and then they gauge the temperament, and they're seeing that a lot of the people are not as versed in what is happening outside and how all these incursions can affect them in the future, and they're gauging that, okay, we'll win this way, and we'll say this to the people and piss them off this way and that way.
Let me ask you again, based on where we are now in terms of the Turkey influence, the Israeli influence, which now I think you, because I'm absolutely confident that Bola Tinubu we can work with Bola Tinubu, because they deal with them. The only place I'm seeing another where is having friction right now is this vice presidential seat, which is where I see the influence of Turkey, because they have the White House here and they are on the same table on a board of peace and all that. They are the only one that can say come. For us, since the man Tinubu is a guy that you guys can work with, the only way this ticket can win is to bring another Muslim based on how the distribution of things is. And I want to be biased here. That's where Konkoso comes in. If they are going to change the current vice president, the replacement is going to be Konkoso, because it's all about winning. That's where Tinubu is. That's where I think that the trip to what's it called? The Turkey is all about, because if you look at the drama display, because that's a theoretical art, when they were stripping, they were guarding them and all that. That's the same trick they used in 2022, and it worked. So, but again, it's to remind them of what could happen in terms of what happened in 2009, 10, 11, with the death of Yaradua and Goodluck coming and doesn't want to go. So now they're not come. They are trying to play the over that. This man is not dead like that too. It's very fragile. Anything can happen to that. In case if it happen, if you guys insist that this is going to be vice presidential, the war repeated itself again less than 10 years ago could happen again. To me, I think that's what these are playing, and I think it's going to work. They're going to support a Muslim ticket, because that's the only way they can pull out the victory. So the Israel cannot have this way both ways. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot be ground everything. They want to have the power again. You expect the other half of the civilization to just, so they will have to choose. The Muslim ticket continue for another 4 years, or this board of peace, whatever, everything. I could be wrong, or I could be just
right.
Too far. That's what I see playing now.
Mr. John Abbott here. Welcome. Just give me 1 minute so you can jump in. So I don't want to take the time because I know you're waiting to speak.
That is a potential too. You know, he's a pastor from the Middle
but Obi, this is what I want to ask, and I'm asking Mr. John Abbott too. What is wrong if we have a person of the same faith or the same sex or the same ethnicity as president and vice president, insofar as they carry out their functionalities as president and vice president? What's wrong with it? Why do we have a problem with two Muslims, two Christians, two Babalawos, two atheists? Why?
On the surface, there is no problem. But if we look beyond the surface, right, we are not one entity yet. They are trying to build it for the past 60 years, right? So it's form of power play. Because it's very easy to say, oh, Buhari is using his people, Tinubu is using his people. No, it's that's just on the surface. But if you go back deep down, what constitutes the idea of Nigeria, this city struggle has been there. So they negotiated to stay together, right? With the belief, I'm tapping into the psyches of the class of cities, the older guys, with the belief that with time, right, we will, we together, we're strong. But it's also it's an avenue for greedy people, external power to take advantage to institute their own. So that's what is happening. So we are not able to go beyond what started us with. But I believe with generation will come, right? I always say that my generation, the millennial, we are raised in Nigeria without boundaries. Like all my life, I go everywhere. But unfortunately, the Gen Z cannot experience that now. Right? Only me as a teenager, as a kid, 13, 14 years old, I go from Enugu to my village. That's like almost a whole day journey, right? Fear. So, and again, the people, our kids, that's what we are going to teach them. And it's happening again because the grips that the likes of Whiskey Davido have around the world, it's as a result of that. John Abba here, take me to parties maybe say in children, in peers are doing. When if I reach there, I can't tell who is from the north, they know who send us there. Even when we go sit down with the Jonah Bennett, we go argue. The kids are just so, and that will evolve if these external powers help bend that, it no go work. Because if you are one, it's gonna be very hard for them to take advantage of the way they do now. That's why I also believe in another way to accelerate that oneness is one political party system. Let's commit inside. This one way APC go they do their meeting for London. DPDT go do their meeting. And we go there argue say why President what is the travel? There's nothing.
Let's welcome John Abba.
Yeah. Our a potential vice president.
Yeah. Let's welcome him. John Abba, welcome.
Thank you so very much. Forefathers speak the truth in a way. It's nice to see you guys join it because you guys have the same school of thought like mine. I'm sometimes okay to have a different one, but what bugged me is the going back to Nigerian. So whether it's the politics or the military or the soldiers in Nigeria and the view of our people, it tells that it's a long walk to freedom if at all we have started working already. The mind of our people, especially if those that are in diaspora can think and reason this way, you can imagine some of the people in Nigeria. You wonder, how do we draw the line? What do you know about life? And how do you understand power? And why do you think they are there to help your military? Our Nigerian military have gone around the world helping other nations. And I don't think it's the unwillingness and of the the leaders, which I think the leader too doesn't know better, because I think we give them more credit than they deserve, than they even know. So it's a mind-boggling to me, and I wish that a very radical person can take over that country and make us proud again as a nation. But with this Jerekambia business that are doing there, this caricature, I chop Nigerian PNC, it's a shame. It's going to bring our country down and the black nation. Uh, we are the hope of Africa. Uh, because not because of the population, it's because Nigerians dare to be who they are. Our swagger, our depth of knowledge on issues, our dare to challenge life, even though we've been crippled before we even started crawling. But in the midst of all of that, Nigerians have done perfectly well around the world. I always say that the only place Nigerians cannot do well is in Nigeria. But outside that, we are a very resilient people. And the reason is that those that are leading us don't know they are left to their right. So they sell us and they are stooge, a puppet to the West. And that's why I don't even believe that the election who to support have any impact in any form or shape. Or I don't believe it. I just believe that there will be something bigger. That and even if you take life of few Nigerians, it's okay. It's a sacrifice for us to move forward. But with where we are now, the mindset of the people is you don't even know when these people are with you, you don't even know what they are doing. You don't even have any capacity to monitor anything. Rather, they are their boss. They are your boss in your own land. So it's a mind-boggling. And coming to 2027 election, it's settled. As far as Tinubu is alive, he's going to be there. It doesn't matter whether ADC. And by the way, who tell you they are different? They're not different. Everybody are just looking out for their own personal pocket. No, none of these people, they are sweet talking people around, pushing people around that they're going to do better. They themselves already have people in Washington lobby for them. These people that you guys are saying they are your candidate, they do better, they want to change Nigeria. And if you don't have the love of your nation and have a vision to take Nigeria from where it is. Nigeria mentally, the Nigerian people, we are suffering, struggling in Nigeria with all things bombarding us. And now the people that even have been taking advantage of us for years. Now you have started negotiating with them before you even become a president. Who tell the rest of Nigeria that these people are there for you? So and we will refuse to be bullied here by anybody. I refuse to be bullied. And thank God it's not one-on-one. I believe it's if as this channel have your say, if it is a studio, trust me, nose will be bleeding because some of this nonsense that we say will not go unpunished. Some people will bleed and will end up because some of these things we are I mean it's okay to be civilized, but you cannot just speak ignorantly, bluntly. I don't even know how forefathers and Rudolph and the rest can anchor this program when you hear some of our brothers and sisters that somehow is okay with all of those things. And anybody among the people running for president, meanwhile. And I don't have problem in Tinubu staying there because I don't have anybody that I know among these people that have any idea or better. I mean, I understand he's an old man, but you can't tell a person what to do. If you are young enough and you have never get your way there, then just endure it. And if someone younger is coming with a better idea, then we can embrace it. But none of them have anything. They all want to sell us to the West. And that is my concern for the next generation. But Extreme File, I don't care about Extreme File. It's occultic. So we are suffering in Nigeria. Injustice is everywhere. So what is my business with people eating themselves, doing whatever nonsense they have been doing all this while? They are eating us live in Africa every day. These people eating us live. We have pepper soup in their table every minute. So if they can eat it, so I don't really care. They all do it. So I wish them good luck. I believe much as karma, that what goes around comes around. It will catch up with you in time, in due time. So I just worry that we, the African people, should rise up. Let us cross this between this party line. I don't even believe the Muslim ticket or Christian ticket is the issue. The issue is that people have no clear vision for their own people, how to lead the country to be competitive in 21st century. They don't even have the idea. So they use these religions to divide us, use a tribe to divide us, use all those things to divide us, and we keep falling to the tribe. Oh, this is Christian, this is are they not a citizen of the country if they mean well? I believe that what people believe influences them, but it shouldn't be more than the constitution where things work. So if we don't have a strong constitutions, then all the institutions in Nigeria from A to Z are not working. So if they are working, we will not be looking at whether it's Christian ticket or Muslim ticket, but they use it as a divide and control over the years. And I'm wondering why is it still working in 21st century where we can see more things that those things shouldn't be what divide us. You have the right to worship God the way you want, but to respect me as a human being, I will respect you, and our boundaries will be clear. So I want to give my brother Jagon that come to say his word on all that. But I think we should look beyond this and unite ourselves. We can have our differences. I have my differences with Jagon. But if you come to US today, it's my brother. I might have my differences with Gouvet. If you come to, it's my brother. There is a way you put things in perspective. We cannot, because of we don't like what each other say, make us to sell ourselves to another people who doesn't even believe that we are human beings, even whereas we are even better than them. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you for that. I wanted to share something quickly before we carry on, because I find this quite interesting, what I'm just looking at. Typical Nigerians, this is why I say we are very, very quick to sell. This is from the Epstein files. Nigerians, we always show up everywhere. It turns out that we are there. So let me read this. It says, I agree we should meet, but for our meeting to be fruitful, please give some information in your proposal. We are willing to sign NDA agreement with you. This is the owner of DP World. I think he's a member of one of the top families in either UAE or Qatar, one of those two. And he's meeting Nigerians. Notice the part I wanted to talk about here. He talked about meeting two presidents, a governor. He met two former presidents at their invitation. He met a governor. He met somebody that has a private port owner in Lagos, discussed acquisition, and it didn't work as he said they discussed acquisition. Then he said joint venture. He said it didn't work as he insisted that we pay his dividends in dollars while our earnings is in Nigerian naira. That is a Nigerian not accepting the naira. This is a foreigner talking about this to Nigerians. So Nigerians are not willing to accept the naira when somebody is coming to invest in your country to pay you. Then he says January 2018 met transport minister who was overwhelmed with my presentation, but offered we build an industrial park in Lekki since port is already given to a consortium of an Indian development Chinese contractor and CMA French shipping company to manage. I declined the offer as there is no benefit for us to create an industrial zone to produce cargo for someone else's port. At DP World, I made a decision that unless we get what get what a compelling offer, we stay away from Nigeria until such time. The only way we will invest in Nigeria, one, as a green field in Badagry, which had good infrastructure, a brownfield port in Lagos area, either acquire an existing terminal. I am in Dubai till end of this month. So you can see the ugliness of Nigerians. If you keep reading, you see the ugliness of Nigerian elites in Nigeria, the way we handle things. According to him, he said his presentation overwhelmed our transport minister. So that's why I say we are the problem. We have been conditioned to see ourselves as less than. We don't know how to interact with the world. And if you look at that email, this is telling you that
you said 2018, Abi, who is the transport minister? 2018, right? That's what you read.
You are trying to nail him down.
But that just lets you know. That just lets you know that even when you listen to Nigerians on this panel, aside from the fact that either they do not know their own history or they are in denial, so there's just some cognitive dissonance going on, a lot of them do not understand how Westerners think. They don't understand how the white man thinks. And you can see it in their approach to certain topics. You can see how they speak on certain topics, whereby a person is being racist to them, but they equate themselves still as on the same level and think the person is talking in abstract or differential to them, to the person they are insulting. I'll give you an example. There's a guy on the internet now. His name is, he's a white boy, something Barnicourt. He's British. He's the latest white person to start interfering in Nigeria's affairs, and he's insulting Nigerians. He's openly racist. You know, people will say divide the country and only divide it into, I know some people are going to get angry, but this is the fact. They'll say divide it into Biafra and leave the North on its own and divide the Christians this way. And at one point, somebody from southwestern Nigeria, because he had a Yoruba name, objected to him. And he blatantly called this guy a dumb African. Alex Barnicourt, you can search his name with dumb African. And do you know, people started calling him a racist, rightfully so, and there are Nigerians that were saying he's not a racist. He only called him a dumb African because he was saying something dumb. And I'm like, are you in my head, like, are these people slow or something? He generalized you guys. He could have just said, called him dumb or called him a dummy. He specifically called him a dumb African or a stupid African, something derogatory to that nature. And Nigerians could not fathom that he was talking to them also. They separated themselves. They said, well, he didn't call me, he called him a dumb African. So this is all I'm saying is, based on that letter you wrote, Nigerians generally don't understand how Western people think. You see it on the show. People are supporting all the racist policies of Donald Trump. We know two very notable people on here that are always supporting the racist divisive policies of Donald Trump. But for some reason, they think Donald Trump has these magic eyeballs whereby if he laid eyes on them, he would separate them from the other blacks like Michelle and Barack, whom he called monkeys. He called them monkeys. He put a tape on Truth Social yesterday with Barack, AOC, Michelle, what's her name? The lady from Texas, Quartet. And he was playing the Tarzan music, jungle music in the back with their faces superimposed on gorillas. But somehow black people think they're different. Nigerians think they're different from all this racist rhetoric that these white supremacists are pushing.
I like what you say. One of Tunaja fit into one of the examples you are portraying. People who actually know what they are going in, because, but one way or the other, I don't know how to actually classify, because Tunaja knows that nine friend, nine uncle. It was his uncle that was the minister 2028. That's why I refused to measure the minister's name.
What are you talking about? That's ridiculous.
Hold on.
How can I know that?
Hold on.
I barely know what was going on in Nigeria then.
What I just did is what Tunanja will do immediately get hear of that information. We say, who is that minister? He will do the research. I know him. So he knows he's Amechi. That's why he kept quiet, like a village man.
So it's Amechi. So this is Amechi that is running for office. Oh my God.
It's a very simple name to keep on your head. So how you can say it's Amechi?
No, I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? I didn't know. Wow, is this Amechi?
You know why? Are you surprised? He was heavily in bed with China company, building rails and everything. So you can see he cannot do the two. They've already sold to China, the Buhari administration, collect heavy loan from Chinese. Via that road, of course, it was one of the prominent ministers in the Buhari administration. So I don't know why you are surprised, because they went all in with the Chinese, the seaports, the mining plant and everything. So when the Americans are coming, which is pretty much or the Israeli, which is pretty much what would be the man name? Epstein. Of course, he no get choice. He has to do like that. You can't serve two masters. Go backfire. So that's exactly what played out there. So now that's the kind of the leaders we have. And it's that same man that will come and instigate Nigerians. They make Nigeria start up again. So, and it's crazy.
Let's bring Jagon in, because I'm sure Jagon has something to say about this Epstein.
My question to you is that how long will it take leading to the election before you will be seeing more Epstein file regarding Nigerian key actors in order to either influence the election or to do something? Because I believe more name will still come out. Or that's my question.
No, Jagon, are you there? I would like your take. Yeah, I would like your take on the developments this week, because it is cutting across many countries in Europe. I think I heard about this in Denmark or something, and UK definitely. The Prime Minister is in trouble because of that. But for some reason, Americans don't seem to be troubling their politicians for it. So what do you make of the trajectory this whole thing is going?
Thank you. Good evening to the panel and to listeners and the more. Man, sometimes fundamentalism, as I have a lot of in my system, is not appreciated. The fundamental thing about the Epstein files is that nothing's going to be done about it. Nothing's going to happen. The depth of heinous crimes that have been committed by our politicians, our leaders, our business people, our celebrities, all these people who have visited the island and done worse. It's something I've been speaking about for some time. I told the panel some years ago that 250 children go missing in the UK yearly. This is just the UK. Go missing, which means that they've been torn away from their families in one way or the other. In this aspect, and in us understanding that this is a direct industry, and I would say possibly being run by Zionist Jews globally, there have been children who have spoken in the UK, in Highgate, here in London. There were two children in the 1980s or early 90s who were speaking about what their parents were doing and what they had to do, and the kind of processes that they went through in eating children, killing and eating children. Shocking to me. Shocking when I came across this information in the first place. But the fact that we now know, because I used to tell this to people, nobody will believe me, or nobody believed that there's cannibalism going on in the UK. They'll tell me okay, now it's out. We've just stepped over it like it's not even news. Nobody's going down for this thing. Andrew is not going down. I can guarantee you he's not going down. His mother, the Queen, who everybody respected, it was knowledge. It was of her knowledge. She knew. Not only did she know, she was involved. Don't think that the king, as they call him, is not involved. Is that what you? If that passes through your mind, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. But he's there. He's there. So I'm afraid we are going to see this go and come and go. It's going to be history. When you see that there's no outrage at this level, that's when you know that the test has been tested to the point of us as a human race being sheepish. We're not a strong, this is not just about Nigeria and its problems, and the sheepish nature of Nigerians is a big problem. But it's a global thing. It's a global thing. Every citizen of the world, we're just sheep. And when we come out with shocking news like this and nothing takes place, there's no outrage, there's nobody on the streets. Nobody's on the streets of London outraged by what they've seen. Nobody. Everyone's just going on with what they're going on with. You see,
Jagun, do you think it's because of love of money, capitalism, that turn us to
No, it's not because of capitalism alone. Capitalism is there. It's just a mechanism. What it is that slowly by slowly, we are losing our souls. That's what it is. You see, sometimes we're not able to engage spirituality because we believe it doesn't really belong to us. But it does, I'm afraid. We all have a spirit. And our spirit is our real means of humanity. And when we don't engage it, we've lost. We have lost. How can you not engage your spirit in what's taking place in the world? You're engaging your mind, you're engaging your physicality. But what about your spirit? What does your spirit tell you? Our spirits are weak, brother. Our spirits are very weak.
Do you think it's because we pay more attention to the material things and forget that?
Yes, you can put it that way. We do pay more attention.
If you don't mind me jumping. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, please.
Thank you. I do agree with you and Ovi, right? The materialism aspect, the capitalism, the fact that we seem to have lost our souls and our humanity, which you always spoke about on here. You are one person that would always speak about that. But I think furthermore, and even more than that, is that humans have revealed themselves to be unbelievably hypocritical. Hypocritical in the sense that, yes, I also agree and admit that, yes, it's been years of programming from the elites through the media and through happenstance in the world, how they shape events, right? But humans have shown themselves to be unbelievably hypocritical. Why do I say that? Let us assume, and I think everybody on this panel will agree with me, let us assume that instead of Zionists, which you have rightfully, again, called out, instead of Jews and instead of Christians, the perpetrators of these actions were overwhelmingly Muslim. How do you think the rest of the world, which wants to act oblivious to cannibalism, to rape, to sexual assault, how do you think they would have taken this issue? I know how they would have taken it. They would have been calling for every Muslim on the planet to be hung at the stake or crucified like Jesus. But because the perpetrators do not feel the narrative, what do we have? In Europe, if you watch European news, they are trying to link it to Russia. If you watch American news, they're trying to blame other entities except the real people that committed this act. Even on the show today, and even on social media, and even talking to people, everybody is doing their best, failingly so, because definitely are not going to succeed, to attach it to another group, primarily Muslims. Each time they talk, oh, well, but in the Middle East, they even had to make fake videos of Mamdani saying he was probably Epstein's son because his mom had a showing for her book and her movies. Yeah.
Let me ask you before, sorry, my brother. Let me ask you before I take the mic back, if I may. The point, whilst I can agree with a lot of what you're saying, is there a point? Because if there is a root that we all know is sick, whoever that sickness belonged to, does it really matter? Because if it were Muslims who are doing this, perpetrating this, which they are not, or indeed maybe they are, I don't know. But if it were Muslims that were cited in doing this, it would mean that Muslims would have the power that the Westerners have, which would mean whoever is in power, it would go on the same, because all we are human beings at the end of the day. Whatever creed or religion we belong to, it is not the creed or religion that is being decimated, it's humanity.
Right. That might be true. It might be a power issue. And I don't think it's a power issue. I think it's just a morality issue. It's a decadent individual issue, meaning these are not new. People tend to forget that Western governments are offshoots of the Roman Empire. They carry those traditions and behaviors along with them these thousands of years. So I don't think it's just a power issue. The Japanese have power. We don't see them doing it. Africans have power in their own little places. We don't see them doing it. So my point is, yes, it does not matter the religion or the faith or the creed or the beliefs of the person perpetrating it insofar as it is wrong. But the bottom line right now is the Western world is not making as much noise as it should because of the religion, primarily because of the religion, and to a lesser extent, the race of the perpetrators that committed these heinous acts.
Okay, I would agree with the race. I wouldn't necessarily agree with the religion. Because you see, by the time you get as far back in history as the Roman Empire and the way the Roman Empire truly ended, it ended in immorality, which is the way most empires end. By the time you get to the level of corruption that we're at, where it's seeping into humanity, where the human being is more corrupt than money. The human being is more corrupt than money, if you understand what I'm trying to put to you. When you speak about Dogon, Dogon is not a European spiritual system. It goes further back. And these things took place from these arenas where there was devil worship and human sacrifice and human deluge going on all the while. You see, all I'm trying to let us know is that, especially in Nigeria, and what I dislike very much about Nigeria, as people have already spoken, we have a way of just going backwards. We have a way of always arriving at the wrong answer. And I don't know how this is our speciality. How can you always, 1 on 1 is 55? Do you need a slap? What is it? What do we need to do to allow you to understand? You know, this is the kind of arithmetic we're doing. It just doesn't make sense to anyone, yet we're going forward with this kind of thinking. And for me, the hope that I had for Nigeria growing up, I'm telling you, it's been shattered into shit. The hope that I had, it was even a hope that, it was past hope. I kind of knew that it's going to be our turn and we're going to do great with it. But we're here now.
If you
We've
don't
done
mind, let me tell you what happened. What you are saying, man, you are so spot on. Let me tell you what happened. That it is engineered, just as you said, for us, to be behaving the way we are being. Unfortunately, because if you go back to in the 30s, where Huxley wrote the Brave New Words, right? If I may quote, where he was talking about that the world we achieve our stability through humanity achieving stability and happiness through extreme technological and social engineering. Babies are no longer born naturally, but detained in an hatchery and conditioned into rigid ecosystem. Alpha at the top of intellectuals, leaders, down at the experiential and millennial workers. People are genetically engineered, indoctrinated from birth via ignopedia, sleeping techniques, and kept them docile. With the drug, Soma, a perfect escape from what? Discomfort and dissatisfaction. Proximity. Proximity, it will be mandatory for everyone belonging to everyone else. Family and monogamy are obsolete. Arts, religion, and deep emotion are suppressed, which is what you're talking about, spiritual. Those are suppressed. And consumerism is endless. So your generation are pretty much maybe the last stage of generation before that their plan get to us, because after
I believe so. Brother,
yeah.
if I may, I believe so. Generation X, which I belong to, are very different from the generations that come underneath us. Very different. Generation X, they still have a deep belonging to the generations before us, and we are the first to understand what is happening in this future. So we hold a lot. But Generation X, I'll tell you, we kind of largely failed. And I don't like to use the word failed, but we were in a juxtaposition where we understand the respect and honor of our parents' generation, but we knew that we were entering into a world that, boy, you have to have your torch on all the time to see what's going on. Because things that I was finding out at 15 and 16, people around me had no idea about. It took them 10 years to catch up to where I was. And this is not a boast. I was just more spiritually led. I was just more away from dictates. I didn't like people dictating anything to me. I didn't like it. I liked finding out. I liked making my own mistakes. I liked falling into the dirt in order for me to know what this filth is about, and clean myself up and say, that filth is disgraced, it's disgusting. We have to know what it is. A lot of us speak without real knowledge, real understanding of what it is. And my God, when I look at Nigeria and what is happening right now with troops on the ground, do you know that France has boots on the ground in Nigeria now? Are you aware? France. Now, I'm looking at this and thinking France is in a desperate position. The French economy is in a real desperate position. And Nigeria, instead of understanding this, they're assisting them to get back. They're assisting them to have an enclave in West Africa, which is their primary.
Because Nigeria does not have a choice.
People that want them because you want power, not the whole country.
No, not just the power. I think he's seeing the wider picture. I don't think any leader worth his salt wants an external force, especially a military force within their borders, except either they've been compromised, they've been cajoled, or in Nigeria's case, the third one included, they just don't have a choice.
Why France?
I don't think it's only France. I think you'll be surprised the day you find out that we have the Chinese there, we have the Pakistanis, we have the US, we have the British, we have Canadians. You'll be shocked. Now, maybe because all of them are probably not, maybe
Do you
maybe
think
because maybe because they are not running around in uniform all over the place, but those people, at least their intelligence, I will wager a bet that they are on the ground in Nigeria right now. Listen, let's say something. There's a lot of illegal mining going on in Nigeria, and has been going on for over a decade, or at least 15 years, they say. There are landing strips in Nigeria that Nigerian military does not have access to. But there's a lot of foreign bodies, planes leaving with mineral resources, coming in with equipment. So for you to think these are private individuals, you have to be a little deluded. These are the work.
I had this question to you. I had this question. So do you think France not being everywhere, as the name of France being everywhere, do you think it's the work of the opposition, or is it genuine concern from where Jagu is coming from? Because
opposition.
I agree, but why is it that France?
What do you mean opposition?
No, Jagun is speaking generally that having foreign boot on ground is not a good idea, but France in particular is not where we should go. So he's not being partisan. There are some people who oppose Tinubu who want him. I want to say, oh, why France? Why France? Why France? So I'm wondering, where is there? Why France? When you know that there's Indians, there's Chinese, there's all this, but why is it?
Nigeria does not have a choice. Nigeria at this point is at a precipice. Nigeria is fighting for its survival. Nigeria is on its last throes. If we do not allow these people at this point in time to come in and take the resources, exert their influence, destroy things like the AES, however the part Nigeria has to play in it, what they will do is do it blatantly. So what they're doing now is just subtle, well, not so subtle, but at least they're giving, not so subtle, but they're giving Nigeria some kind of off-ramp. You know, we want to take everything, but we'll give you 10% if you let us in. Let me land.
No.
Is it okay if I lie? Like,
no. Say we don't have a choice is not accurate.
No, I want to know
as a nation.
You haven't let me land it. Like,
no, you've made the point now. Except there's something else. Go ahead.
All right. Nigeria does not have a choice. Like I said, we're in the last throws. If we, but this was, hear me out. If we've seen what they did in Venezuela, and we've seen what they can do with what they're about to do in Iran. So if you think you have a choice, you don't. So it's either we're going to take it all and kill you in the process, or throw you in Marion, Illinois, or put you in Florence, Colorado with El Chapo. Or we can give you a little bit, You're a figurehead and you do as we say. So at this point, Nigeria does not have a.
Let me say this, please.
Because everybody keeps. When am I going to finish what?
No, I beg your pardon for.
I made the point a long time ago. You are still repeating.
No, I didn't make a point, sir. It's okay to listen. This is your problem. You never like to listen. You listen halfway. Go ahead, sir.
You want me to tell you the point? Yeah. You want me to tell you the point? I already know the point. He's already made the point since 5 minutes ago, and you're still making one point over and over again.
Oh yeah.
No matter. Let me say my piece. You go. I've been talking. See, to tell a nation that they don't have a choice sounds like something, and if somebody from the inside or the other side would want us to hear, which is very, very weird. How can you say a nation doesn't have a choice? Maybe that so-called calamity you are talking about will wake us up from our slumber. Maybe it will galvanize African countries, because this is the first time
No.
Western nations have actually, let me finish what I'm saying. This is the first time Western nations have actually showed up on the Niger-Congo side of the African continent to start bombing. And it might galvanize us, because if you look at what do you call it, Traore, even assassination attempt starts galvanizing people, not to mention if there was a war, all-out war going on there. And Nigeria is not that. When I look at Nigeria, you know, I'm on the ground right now, and I say Nigeria is not like Ukraine. It's not like many other countries where you just think you bomb one place, you decapitated the country. You will have to bomb almost every house to stop Nigerians from getting power supply, for one. You have to bomb every house to stop Nigerians to get water, for one. Nigeria is a very difficult place to conquer if you think about it.
Do you even understand how the electricity? Wait, hold on. Do you even understand how Nigeria is electrified? You think you have to bomb literally every house? If they knock down the Kanji Dam, that's it. You're done. They knock down the Kanji Dam, you're done.
That's exactly my point.
What else electrifies Nigeria? What's your point?
Hold on. You don't understand.
Nigeria, no, because I think we're going. Wait. No. All I'm saying is that we're going off.
You don't want me to talk at all.
Okay, we're just going off track.
What I'm saying,
we are going off track.
Yeah, I know. See, my original point was that Nigeria is not as easy to take over as you'd like to think. Kanji Dam, how many people relies on Kanji Dam? Most people have their own generator. Most people have their own solar in Nigeria. Nigerians have gotten used to doing this individually, more than most countries would like to admit. The truth is that as a people, we have a right and we have a choice to resist if we choose to. It's just that we are not ready to pay the price right now.
We're not.
But soon the price will be forced on us.
If America decided to take over, if America decided to take over Nigeria's government, right? But you're on the same part. If Nigeria decided to take over, if the United States decided to take over Nigeria's government right now, which parts of the country, forefathers, do you think will put up a resistance on behalf of the Nigerian government to make sure that the Nigerian state continues to exist?
Now, please don't answer for now. Let me come in. You guys, let me put this to you. You know, Speaks, if you were the president of Nigeria, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying now. I understand what you're saying, but you know in your own mind's mind that you being the president of Nigeria, you would be very aware of these dangers, and you would proactively make policies to make sure that these things don't happen. But where I agree with you is that, unfortunately, because we have allowed our nation to deplete itself, you know, in terms of growth and policy and strength politically, because we have allowed this, that's where the choiceless nature is. We gave. Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
Exactly. We were doing suppositions. Reality is on the facts say that Nigeria does not have a choice. You say, well, if you could put proactive measures in place. Well, proactive measures haven't been put in place. The bottom line right now is that Nigeria is a weak, broke, and disorganized society, and the leaders, even if you had Jesus and Muhammad as president and vice president of Nigeria right now, they have no choice with the happenings on the ground right now but to cut deals with these Western nations. Well, you know, if we wanted to fight, not you, Jack, I'm saying for fight. If we wanted to fight, we will fight. Well, the point is, people are not going to fight. Nobody's fighting for you. So what can the president do right now? He has to freaking cut deals and be subservient to these countries, or he's going to be sitting with Maduro somewhere in MDC.
All right. I want to take this to a point where we understand what's going on as the four of us are here. The four of us who are here, you know, we have our differences, but I think we give each other some level of respect that we know what we're talking about at times. I'm trying to suggest that because of the way the world is, Nigeria had an advantage if they had anybody with sense within leadership, or if they had a consciousness about themselves in a country called Nigeria. Unfortunately, we do not have a consciousness. We are unconscious. And because of our unconsciousness, we have brought ourselves to this position. In bringing ourselves to this position, we have to understand how late we are. And the fact that Speech is talking about the fact that, boy, going into the future, we have less and less power each year that goes on. Now, I think, it's very difficult to suggest who, apart from Tinubu, who I deplore, who could lead this country out of the mire we're in. And I haven't got a clue who. I would prefer to vote for someone like Speech to lead the country rather than some of these characters that we see all over the place. I would prefer to vote for even Forefather, who I have major disagreements with, but I think consciously he understands that Nigeria has to be Nigeria, not Nigeria times this with this inclusion and that inclusion, and making us less an empirical force in this world as we are. Nigeria still stands as weak as we are, the biggest economy in Africa. So that's how weak Africa is.
Yeah,
We are weak, and we are weakening ourselves more. And I don't see why Nigeria has had to invite America upon the land, had to re-invite France upon the land, away from if they're just being paid. And that materialism that we are suffering with no dignity in our nation is a paralyzing thing. Paralyzing. And when I come across Nigerians that are speaking this paralysis, I don't even understand who or where they're coming from. We are in a nation that has failed woefully. They haven't attached themselves to the African American understanding that if we are good at this negotiation course that we are in, we'll know that we have a power base in America without having to go there. Because all we have to do is to really deal with the Black Americans and empower them with our great force of economy to engage with them. The Caribbean is there, being taken over by the Chinese and whoever. We should have engaged that place from a long time ago. The South Americans are there. We should have engaged them. This is what the Chinese are doing. The Chinese are engaging the world. We're just sitting there looking. Our country is a pile of shit. Our country is nothing to look at. Ikoyi, is that what you're going to boast to me about? I mean, I really do not understand the way we think. I don't understand how we think that we will be proud and be prideless at the same time. It's an oxymoron. I'll just end there and see where we develop.
Thank you. When I was in Abuja driving across Airport Road, I don't know, people that know that Airport Road, Abuja, they say they have great road and everything. But if you look at that road, it looks like an uncompleted road by Western standard or by any developed country standard. Because you can see the drainage right there out in the open, splitting the road on the left side. It's like we are so shabby. As a people, we are shabby. We can't seem to get any simple thing straight. Even to make a line that is straight, it's like Nigerians will just. It's like, why? Do you know? I was in Nigeria the other day and I had something to eat and I wanted to throw it away. There was no bin, and I found myself throwing a few things where I said, "You see, this is how it happens. Because the ecosystem doesn't cater to people that are actually that have decorum, that are law-abiding." And that have reserve. You don't have that. Everybody is just doing whatever they like. They throw rubbish whatever they like. They do whatever they like. They expect to get away with it. So if you want to repair the system, that's why I said the only good government we've ever had was technically the first Buhari government. They tried to reshape Nigerians' antics, the way we behave, the way we do things. They try to get us to get to work on time. They try to get us to keep our houses clean, our roads clean. As a matter of fact, they would have ended up with a country that looked like what all of us loving Rwanda today. They would have ended up with that if they just had the goal to carry on and survive. But clearly, another government came in and wrecked the country again. So we've not truly had any good leadership. If anything, that government, there was a bit of hypocrisy. because they were not supposed to be traveling overseas, foreign countries to go for Hajj or something. And the diamond was caught going there. It's like Nigeria has.
No, he was not supposed to take his little son.
Yeah, and he did. You see that? So that was hypocrisy he was caught in. Why do you do that? You are trying to transform a nation, because sometimes when you catch it like that, at that weak point, then that symbolism alone is enough to do it away. But what if they had caught it, they when they overthrew him, he didn't do that? Maybe people will be saying, why did you remove him? You know, they will argue more for your case.
No, Nigerians should have never said that. Listen, even till this day.
Let me see what I'm saying now. See, history has.
I thought you were.
When a leader is popular, that if that leader is dethroned, it could be problem for the people that dethroned that leader. If a leader was popular, sometimes even a leader that was popular, let's say he lost his life when they overthrew him, they are willing to. They will turn on the government that overthrew him and bring his child, the child of the leader that was deposed, to come and rule.
Aren't you Nigerian?
Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying that is because it has happened in history. I don't know why you are laughing. It has happened in history.
I'm laughing because it happens in history does not mean it is binding on Nigerians. You have to understand. You even spent all your life in Nigeria, right? So the psyche. The psyche of Nigeria, I'll tell you why it's not the same. If the psyche of Nigerians was the same, when you read the archives and see how Nigerians loved the rule of Murtala Muhammad, that if they were going to fight for anybody after his assassinations, then when Bisala and Dimka and the rest of them assassinated Murtala in Marina on his way to Dodan Barracks, they would have fought for Nigeria. They would have risen up.
Hold on, a lot of Southerners loved Murtala. A lot of Africans love Murtala, but not the North. So let's not.
Well, no. What do you gauge by a lot? What do you mean not a lot?
Remember, this is a guy that retired 100,000 soldiers within a year or so in Nigeria. And many of them were.
You mean permanent secretaries?
No, soldiers.
Okay, so how did that affect the regular people?
No, I'm telling you that because it affected the northern people most by and large. And
so the northern people. So you're trying to tell us now that the northern people had a problem with Murtala and were probably in support of the Dimka Bisala coup because he retired military officers. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I'm not saying that they support him. I'm saying that they are not as in supportive of him as the South was. What you hear about Murtala being very popular is mostly the South.
That's not true.
Not the North.
That is absolutely not true.
Okay.
Murtala was loved. The archives will tell us that Murtala was loved by Nigerians. Maybe not the Eastern region, because of his antics during the Biafra War, because of his actions. So maybe not the Eastern region, which we today will call the Southeast. Maybe not that section, but the rest of Nigeria, and by and large, the rest of Africa. And because the black race at that time was starting to get independence all the way from the Caribbean to Africa, was looking for a black leader. He was already positioning himself in the light of people like Lumumba, in the people like Kwame Nkrumah, in the light of people like Nnamdi Azikiwe. This was how Africa had started to look at him before he was assassinated in '76. So to say he wasn't loved,
he went and did something that reduced his power by retiring 100,000 soldiers within a year, and most of those soldiers
that did not count.
You don't seem to understand that.
That did not count. So let me move on. That did not count. That had no basis on how people felt on him. It didn't count. So moving on, it did not count. I don't know why you bringing that up. It didn't count. So anyway, moving on. If Nigerians did not fight, if Nigerians did not fight for Murtala, considering how the black race was looking at him at that time, there you would expect that the Buhari Idiagbon regime that you just praised, people would have probably kicked against IBB Abacha, Domkat Bali, and Zamani his childhood buddy that he ended up assassinating. You would have thought they would have fought for these people, Buhari Idiagbon regime, but they didn't do it. Again, a second time. So this brings me to where my position is. You seem not to understand the psyche of Nigerians. They're not dying for any government. Not right now. Not since 65. They're not doing it. They're absolutely not doing it. So thinking, oh, the way it happened in, I don't know, Burmanistan, whatever country, it's the same as how Nigerians look at it. Oh, well, look at what happened, so we're going to fight for the Nigerian ruler's son. No, they don't care. They're hungry, they're divided through race and religion, they're poor, they're not fighting for you. You're not in that position yet.
So how do you explain Nigerians going to die in Sierra Leone and Liberia?
They were ordered to, the soldiers.
So
they had no choice.
So okay, so soldiers can be ordered to just order alone, can make them do something.
We're not talking about soldiers. We're talking about ordinary civilians. Isn't that back and forth?
No, I'm not saying.
We're talking.
I never talked about civilians. I'm saying that if the people, in terms of popularity, his popularity was mostly in the south. That the northerners were not very enamored with.
No. When I brought up the Murtala. I brought up the Murtala experience.
If you're talking about support,
exactly. So you were talking about support of a government if it was overthrown, and the people would even kick against it and say, we want the president back, or the king, or whoever. And I say,
let me make this simple for you to understand. If you retire 100,000 soldiers today in Nigeria, which part of the country will get more cross with you?
Forefathers, it did not matter. You always try to be right. Okay, listen.
It's a simple question. I'm not trying to be right.
It is not a
because you are struggling. You are struggling.
Okay. Hear me out. It is not a simple question. It is an infantile question. From everything I said, from all the names I mentioned, from all the incidents I mentioned, dates, names, positions, do I sound like someone that is not taking his time to study all of this? But you want to be right by bringing up 100,000, supposedly 100,000 people were retired. If you say, what I do know that was more annoying to the Nigerian populace of Murtala Muhammad's policies was his retirement of permanent secretaries. If you say 100,000 soldiers were retired, well, let's give it to you and add a cookie and soda to it. But my point is that it had no bearing on how the world looked at him at that time. The black race was looking for a leader, and they were leaning towards people like Murtala Muhammad, which his reign was what, 6 months, 9 months? I think 6 months, and he got assassinated. But Nigerians did not rise up to burn down the country. The best they did was hand over power to his reluctant deputy, who was Obasanjo. And of course, we know what he did by handing power to Gary. Don't tell me to calm down. It's okay for me to end my position. You always do this thing where you cut someone. Go ahead, sir, Mr. 100,000.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's forgotten his chain of thought. I
didn't forget my train of thought. I just let you talk. Like, you always so... I don't understand how you approach argument.
I don't know why you are so combative. Take it easy. I'm in Nigeria. You have to give me a little bit of difference here. So the point is, what you see, when Murtala was removed or assassinated or murdered, the people that did it didn't succeed. You notice that they didn't succeed. So that is not even a good case. It's not like they took over and everybody was jubilating and welcoming them. No, they didn't succeed because they took out somebody that was popular. And I wasn't arguing against you when you said Murtala was very popular all over the world. That was not my point. I just said in the context of Nigeria, the Southerners were more excited by him than the Northerners. And that is
Let's come. Let's end this now, because it's not taking us anywhere.
Murtala that filled his cabinet with all Northerners that he took over as a revenge factor of what happened to the North. Removing Gowon was welcomed by the North because they were like, well, you know, you could have eliminated and wiped out the Igbo, but you didn't do that. So it's antecedent as a very brutal war general was welcomed like, yeah, we got one of our own there. You really think the North was pissed at Murtala? You need to read more about Nigerian history, sir.
The people that matter were pissed because he retired 100,000 of them. So you might
enough of this. This is repetitive.
That's just like to argue. Like the permanent secretaries didn't piss them off. But
I don't know why you are so angry about this. It's a very, very simple thing. You are making it look like my point cannot stand with like if my point stands, it kills your point. I don't know. We are talking about
it's not my point kills your point. We're talking what we started off talking about is support that we're talking about. If it went from what would happen if a foreign body invaded Nigeria, then it metamorphosed into you saying, well, you think Nigerians will stand up in support of a government if a foreign body, because it has happened in history. This was your position. It has happened in history where people will say, well, you killed the king, we want his son in charge. We're not welcoming the coup plotters. This is true. But my position was that it cannot happen in Nigeria because of how divided Nigeria is.
I should have even said that to you. It evidently happened with Murtala Mohammed.
How?
Because the coup plotter didn't succeed.
The coup plotter didn't succeed because the military repelled it, not the people. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the military could have decided to go the other way.
Okay, coulda, woulda, shoulda. The bottom line is that's not what happened. What happened?
The military are not the people now. So, see, my point is that the leader was strong enough, popular enough to maintain his this legitimacy. That's his government.
Let me ask you a question.
My guy is going on. My guy. You see the conversation that we're having.
Let me ask you a question. Say Bisala and Dimka succeeded on that day in 76. I think it was July. Say they succeeded and they overthrew the Supreme Military Council of Murtala Mohammed. And Bisala became president. Dimka became vice president, and all these other people. Do you think the Nigerian people would have stood up, stormed Dodon Barracks, and tried to kick out Bisala and Dimka?
I'm not sure.
The answer is the answer is no. The answer is no. Nigerians would have. They would have just gone along with it like every other coup that happened in Nigeria.
So why did Nigerians resist the Abiola's election when he was supposed to have won the council? He wasn't even a leader. Hold on, calm down. He wasn't even a leader yet. And yet they snatched it from him, something that Nigerian people supported, and they spent years agitating for that. Why did
what parts of name 10 spots in Nigeria where that continued for over a year?
10 parts of Nigeria?
Mm-hmm. So-called agitation. Continue just in Lagos.
Maybe not the southeast, too. Maybe not the southeast. But most of the south that I know of, he carried on for till Abacha's demise.
Let's not go because this is how we're going to start arguing. It's going to start spiraling. Okay. First, we started with leaders. Now it's someone that supposedly won an election.
It's not a controversial point. And sometimes when I make a human point, you say, no, Nigerians will not react like that. It's just a human point. If people love their leader, let's say Nigeria gets a good leader today that everybody loves, like everybody in the country loves the leader, and you go and remove that leader, God help you. For once, Nigeria saw it.
Yeah, that is true, but I don't listen. This is my position. when I talk about issues like this, I notice that when I push back on this is what is on the ground issue now, everybody's saying, or whoever tried to argue back is saying, well, if this happens, and if that happens, and if this could have happened, but that is not what is happening. Yeah, maybe in 10 years, Nigerians might love their leaders, or maybe tomorrow, and say, we're prepared to die for our leader and motherland. But the bottom line is, as things stand right now, nobody is fighting for a leader that gets killed or assassinated. Either people are going to be joyous or they're going to move on with their life. Do you think if Donald Trump had gone to bomb the Northeast and Delta Force had run into Aso Rock and picked up the president, vice president, speaker of the House, blah, 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 and flew them to the United States and started charging them in front of the world, do you think Nigerians would have cared?
I don't think Nigerians would care for any Nigerian leader right now. I agree with you on that. They are not. Nigeria don't like their leaders. That's obvious, and they're not.
I just named two leaders that Nigerians could have died for. They didn't. Nigerians are not in that mind state yet. That's what I'm saying.
You mentioned Mohammed, but they technically
Murtala and the Buhari Dagvin regime. Murtala and Buhari, those two regimes.
I was around when that happened in Nigeria, and one of the things that neutralized anybody that wanted to defend that government was that he was caught. Idiagbon government. Anybody that wanted to defend it, he was caught with his pants down. Something that he wasn't supposed to. Remember, he was a disciplinarian. He was making workers do frog jump. He was flogging people if they are late to work, things like that. And there are things you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to be upstanding. You said you're not going to have your child, go to Mecca and all those things. Then you are caught doing that. During the
but again, forefathers, how important do you think that incident was? Do you think if that incident never happened, this is why I'm asking you this. Do you think if that Hajj incident never happened, where he took his young underage son to the Middle East for Hajj, let's pretend it never happened, do you think that Nigerians would have stood up against the Babangida coup of 85?
On balance, probably not. I think I will give
So
that
what are we arguing?
You should stop.
But the
if
point
you
is,
ask me,
look at
you
that.
should change the subject and move. Bros, honestly.
No, it's a back and forth at school.
Wait. Let me say something, because I know you guys like to monopolize. You guys like to monopolize. You see, we've had one of our guys go because he didn't see any consciousness in this. We need to be more inviting. We can't. It's good for two people to go back and forth, no problem. But sometimes the whole conversation just gets misled. I don't even know where we are now. That's what you guys have done.
Let's track back, because let's track back. See, American coming to Nigeria, bad idea. French people coming to Nigeria, bad idea. The reason why is not inherently because they are inherently evil in terms of they are going to do evil things to us. Is because we as a people are not ready to deal with them on a level that benefits us.
I disagree with you.
Themselves, but our people themselves are very.
Let me just say this, properly. Because, sorry, brother, because we have to try and be accurate for our audience. The Americans coming in to Nigeria is inviting the devil to eat dinner. Now, I don't mean to be alarmist and call the Americans the devil, but that's what they are. Their antecedents suggest this. The Epstein files has come out, and you're telling me that we don't have devils in our midst. It doesn't add up. They have, the Americans and the West have an agenda. The Chinese have already won, I believe, the war of the New World Order. The Americans and the West do not agree with this point, especially the Americans. So I put it to you that 2-3 years ago, me and you wouldn't have ever thought that World War III would necessarily be fought upon the African soil. But right now, the whole idea of World War III and Africa is becoming so apparent. One, because everybody wants Africa. Everybody in the world wants Africa. It seems to me, apart from Africans. Africans are the only people that don't want Africa. So when everybody wants Africa, the French and the Americans were kicked out of West Africa largely, and now they've been invited back by stupid Nigerian government. And because of this, we are saying that we are not inviting the devil back into our midst. I think that's wrong. We are inviting the devil back into our midst. And Nigeria is going to be culpable of, Nigerians are hated in West Africa right now. I don't know if you're aware. We're hated. Hated.
Yes.
We're hated, but we are hated. And there's good reason for it, I'm afraid. The AES countries and those people who are in support of what the AES countries are doing, Nigeria is doing something completely different that has nothing to do with Pan-Africanism, has nothing to do with the rising of the black man, has nothing to do with empowering our people. Nigeria is a stupid country full of stupid people. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's as though we don't. I don't know how else to say it. I've been saying this kind of thing for a long time.
But you are saying what I said too now. You are saying what I said.
No. I say it differently from you. Wait, I say it differently from you because, one, I've been saying this thing for a long time, and I've always known it. You know how I know it? Because of the antecedents of my own family. We are all Nigerian. You see, let me now see if you guys can be honest. Me as an individual, Soji Adamo, yeah, in my life, I have been failing in the same way Nigeria failed. I don't know if this means anything to you, but that's how I see myself. I have failed in the same way Nigeria has failed. And it's apparent to me because, believe me, I was supposed to be a superstar. If you put it, I knew too much. But because of the whole Nigerian aspect of my being, bruh, things fell apart. Now, I don't know, the Nigerians that I know that haven't been affected by Nigeria are the Nigerians who took off the Nigerian cap and put it down. Just put it down and never look back. Those are the Nigerians that I know that have done well in this country. But in their soul, they're not happiest. Now, I don't know if this is a deep thing for you guys, whereby, looking at our people, our people outside of Nigeria are the people that represent Nigeria the best. They represent Nigeria the best. Imagine, the best representation of Nigeria should come from inside Nigeria. That's where it should be. That's where we should have a base. But we don't have a base there. Our base is as far away from Nigeria as we can get. That's where the gravitas of Nigeria is seen. It's not seen in Nigeria because it's not allowed to be seen. And this is the factor that I feel that we fail to admit or acknowledge. Now, when I talk about my failure, I've been all over the place. I've been all over the world. I know what I needed to do. I know what I can do. But there is something within me as a Nigerian, somebody who loves the fact that we are Nigerians, the fact that we have a country full of nous, history, and all kinds of things that are positive. We go with this. I travel with this. But there is still, I don't know if it's self-destruction, but what I equate it to is a way of not being able to pronounce things as the truth. We make excuses for ourselves. We lie. We cajole. All these are the practicalities that make us fail. And I'm afraid we all have it, but I wonder who can admit it. I wonder who can admit.
I think to an extent you have a point, especially when you use the term that just as Nigeria is failing, you are failing. You can't always escape your ties and your origins. Your fate is often bound together. Because I've always imagined that if children were born by a parent that is well accomplished, wealthy, you'll find that even when that child doesn't necessarily get support from the parents, that child goes on to do well because they have all the necessary tools, and people respect that child because the child is of that parents. So you can see, if you are from Nigeria, just having the name, the attachment to Nigeria alone has, in some sense, some ways, some positive benefits to it. But in very many ways, negative, especially in the arena that you wanted to operate in. It can be very, very tedious in professional environments, in especially high level board level environment, because we don't have an ecosystem of Nigerians in that location. We've not conquered it. Let's put it that way. This is why, if you look at the Nobel Prize in physics and sciences, you barely see a black person, not to mention a Nigerian, in there. And if you look at when I should speak came to Nigeria and many parts of Africa, most of the technical stuff is not handled by black people. And even the drag racing that he was doing, it turns out the one he did in Angola was handled by a non-black person. And I look at these patterns all the time. I ask myself, why are we not participating? Why is it that our leaders have just somehow made us not to do anything? It's so strange, the phenomenon. And it should be troubling to everyone, really. Because we go around saying, oh, we are practicing, we have education, we nurses, doctors, but we don't build anything. We don't have somebody that is technically top in their field operating within the African continent. No way. Not even close. Is somebody even close to the top in their field? We don't even have it. Somebody that shows up in a documentary and says, let's seek an expert. No. We don't have it. We can't even throw rubbish away properly in our country. We throw it on the side of the road. It's like, even if you look at the road, they will pave the road, then the side of the road is full of rubbish all over. It's like the entire system. Sometimes when I look at our leader, sometimes I get back to this stage where I want to curse out all the elders I see. How did you people leave us like this? What kind of world did you create where the entire system is this way? How hard could it have been to work hard? Are you afraid of death? Because you are afraid of death, are you afraid you want to enjoy yourself so much? That's why we are now even suffering the consequences. And now we have American soldiers in our country. Maybe 20, 50 years ago, they would not have been able to do it. Now you're giving them the opportunity to do it. Because 50 years ago, there was the Soviet Union that was really, really opposing them. And if they wanted to have a footprint on physical presence in Africa, it may have been a problem for them. But now, look at us. We are now welcoming them because we don't have a choice. Whatever they do with us, they are free to do with us. Somebody is telling us that, oh, we can't do anything. No, we can do something. You see, we have now become, sorry, I'm coming. We have not been conditioned to believe that anything goes. Anybody can do anything to us. We can't say anything. We're just like slaves and here to serve other people. God forbid. I hope that's not what we are here for. Because that is basically asking for your end. And Jide, thank you for joining us. And what do you make of the conversation so far? I'm trying to take it easy because, if I talk too loud, the internet will cut. I have to be careful. What do you make of the conversation so far about everything you've had, really, from Epstein to soldiers in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you so much, Forefathers. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're on ground, man. I'm glad. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I didn't see you last weekend, but yeah, I'm glad I'm seeing you now. Yeah, I've had a lot of things. You see, the Epstein file thing, you see, we probably all agree, or our Zoom we agree, that the powers that are running the world today, the powers that be, the elites of the world, particularly the people that are running a lot of these Western countries, a lot of them are compromised. They are compromised by their actions, by their political, by their history and all those things. That's why they are also they do what they are being told, by the people that sponsor them. Trump is sponsored by, so many factions, right? Peter Thiel, Adelson, all these powerful elites, and he has to do what he's being told because he has been compromised. That's my first position about the Epstein files. A lot of people that run these Western countries, that's why they are so depraved, because partly it's also because they are compromised. But secondly, the release of these Epstein files This is the uncomfortable truth. Or I don't know if I say the uncomfortable truth, but the truth is it's not going to have any, they will get away with it. That's why it is out. The fact that it is out and it is released, nothing is going to change for the elites. For Trump, for what's the name of the guy in the UK, Starmer, all these guys, all of them, nothing is going to change for them, to be honest. Because like I said, it's not going to shake the powerful architecture that is running the West. The Western, the elites, the powers that be, the Rothschilds. I'm talking about the Rothschilds, the BlackRock, the asset managers of this world. Like, it does not impact them. That's why they can release it. Because for them to release and people to see it, it will have to impact them. Even though we can see what is going on, it will have to impact them for them to not want to afford it to be released like that. That's my position on it. Like, it's not going to impact. Like, we will not. The thing is, we probably also agree that the West.
Yeah, but don't you think that maybe they don't, since, okay, let's put it this way, because I've always wondered, why is it that Epstein was even arrested and brought forward in the first place if they are this powerful? I've always wondered that, is it deliberately that they wanted to release this information for whatever reason they are looking to do it? They want to use it to reset the system. We don't know. However, it could also be because the victims started coming out and there were too many of them and there were too many people to be able to plug, and they couldn't plug it and it got out of control. I'm hoping that the latter is the correct incident that occurred. They couldn't control the narrative on that one. And if that is the case, one thing that I suspect may change. It may not. Let's say 70% you are right. But something that may change is the Israeli influence. That may change.
Do you think Epstein is dead?
Wow, that's a big one. I'm not 100% certain.
Honestly, man.
That's the breakdown. You see, what we are not understanding or appreciating is that the world is written. It's a playbook. We are all actors within it. And those who are writing the script are the reason why information comes out at the time it comes out. Yes. So the prescription of the death of Epstein and the incarceration of Maxwell, it suggests to you some kind of normality of justice. Some kind. We know that's not justice at all, but that's what it's telling us, that there's justice. I'm telling you that this guy is walking around whole-bodied. He's walking around, Epstein I'm talking about, he's alive because he's an asset and he did all of this over many years. Do you think that they will just kill him and not reward him? Bruh, we are pretenders. A lot of the time when we talk, we speak as though we are really understanding what's running. We're not.
No, of course. I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't.
But they've been known to assassinate people too, like Ghislaine Maxwell's.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, because he made errors. He made errors. He didn't do a wonderful job like Epstein did. Epstein did a wonderful job for them.
No, I think he did a wonderful job. I think they said he threatened them that if they don't give him a certain amount of money, he was going to spill some beans. And then he spilled. So that's what happened. That's Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, by the way. So yeah, they could feel like, okay, this is too much. We don't even need him anymore.
Maxwell is in jail right now, right? She's in jail.
She's in a nice prison. Nice, very nice prison.
I still feel there's more information that we do not know about than what we know.
Of course. We don't know shit.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question on the outskirts of something that people don't cover a lot that seems to have emerged from the document. What is this thing about some kind of extra humans or superhuman abilities that they seem to be nurturing? What is that all about? Do you know anything about it, Jide or Jagu?
Yeah, taking me back to my background knowledge of European history. Oh my God, it's been a while I learned about European history, man. Pre-Christianity European history. You see, Europeans were pagans in the past, right? Like they were pagans, and I feel like their elites have not abandoned those elements of paganism that they practice. The use of blood, the use of human sacrifice, the horns, those horns that they use, those devilish horns and all that. I think if you look at to understand the spirituality of Western culture, the deep spirituality, it goes even beyond Christianity.
No. What I was talking about was about the superhumans. Haven't you heard about it?
Are you talking about the aliens? Are you talking about the aliens?
No. Like human beings with extraordinary powers that they were nurturing. They were discussing it in an email that this person has this ability, and because of the things we put this person through, this stuff is beginning to manifest itself. So, like, that is the kind of conversation. This is in a kind of scientific research, because Epstein seems to be involved in everything, from life extension to research to help people tap into their powers. They said even Charlie Kirk was one of them. What's her name? What was her name? Candice Owens said.
Kirk's wife. Is it
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's wife.
No, Charlie Kirk himself. That he was a gifted child. They wanted to put him in a gifted school. That they had to take him out, and that his life was like a Truman Show. That when he was younger, according to Candice Owens, that sometimes when he goes on the streets, the lights will be going off. These are things that are like out of this world stuff that we're talking about here. That's the kind of conversation they were having in the email. I see you have not even heard about that. It tells you that there's so much going on that people can't even keep track of the craziness that these people are involved in. The kind of stuff they are involved in.
But for sure, like they are heavily depraved. For them to be, for crying out loud, for people that have so much power to be committing genocide of children, you should know that those people are heavily depraved. They are heavily.
The way they look at it is that the way they look
wait, if I may. Sorry, forefather. Jide, when you say heavily depraved, what do you mean? And I want to have a quick exchange on this.
Like, they are so inhuman. They are so brutal. They are so, like, they do not have any conscience. They don't have any soul. Like, they don't have any conscience.
Okay.
Like,
very good.
What I mean by being depraved.
Now,
like,
what does that sound like to you when you speak like that? What does it sound like?
It sounds like the way I see them, or
yes,
the way I see them. I see them like they don't even see us as human beings. Or it's almost like they don't see us as people that desire to live.
Okay, very good. Very good. Now, I stopped you because of the word depraved. All you need to do is to understand what's going on. By the time you use words like depraved and people seeing other people as not being human or being subhuman, then you have to understand that there is supremacy going on. And within that supremacy, you have to understand that there is a father of that supremacy. And the father of that supremacy is in contact with those who would do his bidding. Now, this is why I think we have to understand how we speak, because it would fine-tune our minds to know, one, which sides we take, and two, what's really going on. Because we like to mash everything together and make it so confusing that it becomes so complicated we can't think. Words like depraved are accurate, but they're not letting you know what you're saying. What you're actually saying is that there is a devil, there is a hatred, there is an oppression going on. You have to understand where that's coming from. This is why I have to underline, we're not engaging our spirit in what our mind is telling us. We're not engaging our spirit in our movements, in our physiology. We're just speaking as though our mind and our physicality would say and tell us all. No, you need to engage your spirit to understand that when you use words like depraved, you are pointing a finger. Do you know where you're pointing that finger to? I'm not saying that you're inaccurate. I'm saying you have to know where you're pointing the finger. You can't just be saying these words and not understanding your meaning. So I don't speak without my spirit. Let me just tell you that for real. I do not utter any word without engaging my spirit. I don't, because I know the war.
Can I like be the devil's advocate here? Because, this is going to be hard because these people eat children. But still, let me try.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let me try. This is the most difficult devil's
It's not
advocate
easy
I've
at all, bro.
So these leaders, we say they are responsible for genocide and all the rest. They are also responsible for the technological rise of the world that has kept 8 billion people alive today. They are also responsible for the innovation of AI that might actually lead us to a point whereby we don't even need to work anymore. So if you look at Stalin, that has taken in excess of 50 million lives, one way or the other, through wars, through reforms and dictatorship, brutality, and he's still being honored for doing that. And these people said, allegedly. Now, let me disclose, allegedly, all the statements I made earlier on, let's, what do they call it? Let's put allegedly before all of them, just in case they want to come after me. So they are eating children. So, but it's not 50 million children. You know, you see, the point is they are bad, but they are not Stalin bad. You see my point? So that is the case I make here. And you have to also see from their point of view, there is also this ideology that I discovered that they seem to have. They believe in a world government. And they believe that during the time of Nimrod, if I'm not mistaken, I was building the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
There was a kind of one world government then, but it was shattered by the creator. And the creator said everybody scatter all over the world, speak different languages. That Nimrod guy, I think it was Nimrod, I take it.
Yes,
His name, he's the one that went on, he's the one that they call Baal. He's the one that they call Baal. And that is where their own worship of Baal comes from, because they believe in a world government. And the same thing with the Illuminati, by the way. The Illuminati, they are like people that are against religion, because they believe that religion doesn't actually search for the real truths and knowing what is true. Basically, the Illuminatis are the founders, you can call them the founders of the scientific method of ascertaining truths. So that is how they emerge. So that is their kind of way of looking at the world. So you might see, and the rituals that they are doing is in a way to bind them together, in a way to control them. On top of all that, there is also the Zionist angle and the Jewish angle, which is also spelled out in the email where they're calling every other person that is not Jewish going, or whatever. I don't know the term. Yeah,
that's
and
right.
they said those people are meant to serve them.
That's right.
We are nobody. We are just there to serve them. They can use us for whatever they like. So this is the circle of, when you look at all the negatives that come with them, it's a supremacist ideology that sees us as further. At the same time, it's a supremacist ideology. The people that are responsible for these things are also responsible for giving us the world that we have today. I wouldn't say they are totally responsible, because it's like I'm giving them the credit for it. Point is that they are the helms of affairs when we have the world that we have today. So that, if I'm gonna submit, is that they have given more than they have taken.
No, I disagree. And I like the fact that you have some understanding of the machinations and the individual spiritualities or institutions that lead into the leadership of the world and the one world government as we have it. And I like the fact, historically, you spoke of Nimrod. These things let us know a lot of things. Let me put it this way. Firstly, in terms of Nimrod, you know the Yorubas are La Murudu. That's Nimrod.
Yes. Namurudu.
That's Nimrod. If you know or don't. Now, another thing you should know, Africa, we have the most languages in the world. Full stop. So that tells you that the Tower of Babel was more significant upon the African continent than anywhere else, if you have any understanding of Nimrod and who he was, what he did. Now, given this, we look at Egypt and what was taken from Egypt. And when I say Egypt, I have to include the Israelites, because they have a they have a culture that has a lot of crossover between them. Philistine, the not Philistine. I forgot their term. The people that they call what's their name? Tunisia. What was the big kind of institution, or not institution, peoples of Tunisia? Not Philistines. Anyway,
The Carthage.
Carthage,
Yeah,
and
the Carthage.
what goes back from Carthage? They were, I've forgotten the name, but it began PH. Anyway,
The
this tells
Phoenicians.
you
The Phoenicians.
Phoenicians. Thank you very much.
I was
Now,
saying it. Go ahead.
this whole atmosphere was an atmosphere of development, serious development, serious entering into the new world. You know, the fact that there are discoveries all over the world was largely due to the Phoenicians. They were the first to circumnavigate the African continent. They were probably the first to ever enter the American state. Let me just say this now. When you now bring it up to the point of the Illuminati and you entertain what it is that they're doing, all of their things go back to Egypt. It goes back to Egypt, but it takes a different turn. It takes a different turn. And that turn is what we call the European power base. The European power base now, at the end of Europe, it went on to the Europeans of the Americas, if you like. So now we have to understand that the power of the devil, it travels. And it travels towards who is running the planet. Whoever is running the planet, the devil is there, leading them. I'm speaking from a spiritual point of view, yes. But I'm letting you know that you can follow the tracks of the devil if you follow the developments of the world. Because what the devil wants is the glory of God. That's what he wants. The glory of God is what we sit upon, the planet Earth, what we observe within the solar system. All these are the works of the Father God. And I'm not basing this on Christianity. I'm basing this on what it is that we can observe in the world. Because religion doesn't matter. A lot of people are religious. They're just fooling themselves, as far as I'm concerned. It's only God and the devil that we need to have understanding of what's going on in this world. The fact that we pray 10 times a day and all that bullshit doesn't matter. What matters is how God is moving and how the devil is moving. And therefore, who amongst the human beings is following who. I'll just end it there and invite you guys to see where
Yeah,
we.
Jide, so Jide, yeah, that's true. For a moment, I was beginning to think that you have now found Christ as your Lord and personal Savior. But you know, maybe
It
there
won't
will
be a
be a
bad
day.
thing.
There will be a day that might happen. Who knows? So, but Jide, what do you make of it? Because these people, is there a second, a different way of looking at them? Is that why people are not reacting the way you expect them to react? Maybe they subconsciously we understand that they are evil, but Stalin was forgiven. He caused the death of millions. So what is going on here?
When you say forgiven, what do you mean, sir?
Yeah, he was forgiven in the sense that he's honored as a hero in his nation. Even if it caused the death of millions of people in that country.
His endless legacy overshadowed some of the
atrocities, yeah.
was acclaimed for. But the thing is, you see, this is very complicated. It's
Yep.
very, very complicated. You see, I don't want to go through a rabbit hole, but we need to understand that we in the West, particularly we that are in the US, even in Western Europe too, or Europe, we are going through a huge, heavy psychological warfare. And what I mean by psychological warfare, I'm talking about like the media, the information space, the culture, the environment. All these things are used to bamboozle the regular people in the West. So they're going through a psychological warfare, and that psychological warfare, it comes in different forms. Like the distraction between the liberals and the conservatives, the fact that we are entrenched in this capitalist system. It's very hard for a revolution to happen in the West. Unlike a country like Nigeria, where organically, if the people are willing, there can be a revolution in Nigeria. If the people are willing. Yeah, it's just more difficult because of the heavy psychological warfare that the people of the US or the West generally are facing. I do not know how to explain it, but psychological warfare is a huge term. The spirituality part of it, the spirituality side is part of it. But to put it in the easiest term, the people of this part of the world are heavily socially engineered. They are heavily socially engineered you understand, like, that's why they cannot see between the left and the right. I'm talking about between the liberals and the conservatives. And at the same time, it's like they also entrenched this system that it's so difficult to get away from it. The high level of consumerism itself is just difficult to get away from it. The high level of consumerism is unmatched compared to other parts of the world. That's part of it. So it's just so complicated. Even the culture, the individualistic culture, so all these factors, it plays a role. Like, I'll give an example. Even Black people, they are the voice of oppression against oppression. The Black people in America, for crying out loud. How were they able to curb them? They were able to curb them through integration into the white liberal space or the Christian conservative space. They were able to absorb them. Now you have the FBA. The FBA is, I'm going into a rabbit hole here. But the point I'm making is the people of those countries, they are going through a huge psychological warfare that is so deep that I don't want to go into.
But you see, you are trying to say that that's the reason why they are not tearing their leaders up. Believe me, there will be a time that will come. I feel like America is in a crosshair. Just as they are putting other people in the crosshairs, they are in crosshair. And I don't understand why. That's why I disagree with this guy where he said we don't have a choice. We have a choice.
We have a choice. I need to talk about it. Oh, I'm glad that you talk about that thing about. I'm glad you mentioned it. I don't know. Someone was talking about the fact that Nigeria as a country do not have a choice. They do not have alternative. That is bullshit. Excuse my language. We have many choices. We have multiple choices. It is our government that chose what? They chose to have alliance with US, Turkey, and all those Western NATO-backed countries that do not serve our interests. For crying out loud, the choice is there. The choice is there. There are some I
think the way it looks at it is that if we do that, they will come and attack us, and it will be the end of the day. And it's because you are. I did say that our people are not ready to make this necessary sacrifice for it. But if you have a good leader, and Nigeria is a very, very fickle country. Yeah, in so many ways we don't have defensive infrastructure to fight any major conflict. But we are also one strange country that has been built in such a way that when you look at Nigeria, they're like, how do we disable this country? Because how many targets will you have? Because I remember they were talking about the Iran war, that was it America or Israel? One of them ran out of targets to target in Iran, in the sense that if they start looking to hit every single target that they have in Iran, they will lose a lot of missiles, and they couldn't sustain it for a very long time. So that was one of the problems. Can you imagine Nigeria if Iran is like that? Nigeria is like, how many power stations are you going to destroy? If you destroy power stations, people carry on with their lives. You will have to bomb each house one by one.
It depends on their intention. Right now, Gaza is completely decimated. Yet still, they're bombing that place because people are alive. What's going on in Gaza is a genocide. So if they're going to operate, it depends what their focus is. Their focus right now. Their focus right now is not to.
To be fair, generally, militaries want to disable many of the state infrastructure from functioning.
Can I respond to that?
The problem with Nigeria is that the state infrastructure is detached from the.
Can I respond to that? Number one, Gaza is not a state. Like, it's not a state that has a formidable military. A state-controlled military. Like, Gaza is an open space.
That's not the reason. That's
Like,
not the
no,
reason.
no. I mean, they can't bomb Gaza like that. They can't bomb Iran like that. For them to bomb Iran like that
they don't have enough.
I mean,
they don't have enough bombs to do that.
You see what I'm saying, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, they can't bomb Iran. Even Nigeria, they can't bomb Nigeria like that.
I think they say Iran is 70-something times bigger than Gaza. That is, you don't have enough bombs to bomb.
I mean,
Iran.
even Nigeria, like, because these are states. These are states. These are states. Like, they are states. They have their own military. In Gaza, you have militias. They are militias. They are just underground militias that are fighting. They are resisting an oppressive regime, an oppressive state. That's not a kind of war that you equate with two states that are fighting each other. That's number one. Number two is my political position has always been the same. We need to be in a state of war for us to really, really, really prosper. That has always been my position.
I feel like I'm beginning to, you see, I call it a catalytic event. I don't know whether it has to be a war.
You see?
Let's invite the newcomer, if we may.
Look at that.
No, please, because it's not good just to have somebody here talk with.
Look at that. It's already pandering now.
Come on, guys. You're supposed to do that job. You're supposed to do that job.
Before he did that, start saying in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Welcome, Mozugo. Morungaru. That's an interesting word. So
that sounds Kenyan. Sounds East African.
Seriously, this week I've been a little bit traumatized. I hate to use that term because it's been abused so much, but it's made me a little bit troubled. Some of the things I've heard this week, especially from the Epstein file, from superhuman abilities to things practices, rituals that are outside the realm of human. Sorry, let me just explain it to him. Rituals that are outside the realm of our knowledge, where they can, get you to bleed without leaving a scar, that kind of situation. And then you have a situation whereby they are, munching on babies and talking about how they taste, like you can't, there are too many things there. And I felt like this is weird, man. This is out of this world weird. And how people, I think maybe a lot of people are feeling the way I feel, because if this can get to me and I've seen things, I don't know, man. I don't know what you make of it. I don't know what Americans are going to do, but sooner or later there will be a reckoning for what people are just saying. No, they're going to put this. No, this is different. This is not John F. Kennedy. This. I'm not even sure this has ever happened in Western history.
Oh, don't be silly. Let me ask you.
When damaging information has come about their leaders, I've never seen anything like this.
Do you think, forefather, and anyone here, do you think that you've ever eaten a human body, given what you know now?
Ew.
God forbid.
If I see it, I will run.
You see, this kind of.
Have you guys ever eaten McDonald's?
You see, I know that's where he's going.
I mean,
you
got a point. We don't know what's in it, but I hope I haven't ate any human flesh before.
Yeah, I hope not. We probably have eaten donkey for sure. Thinking that we are eating steak. So please go ahead. What do you make of this Epstein file dump, and how do you find it, and what do you think the ramifications are? Because including Africa, clearly a typical Nigerian wouldn't accept Nigerian currency for payment. A Nigerian minister in Nigeria wouldn't accept Nigerian currency. Man, you can't even make it up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's deplorable, their behavior. I mean, the thing is, bro, the propaganda that they put out to the world to whitewash their image, because majority of the world thinks, I mean, the average citizen thinks they're not as evil as they are. Like, they're going around kidnapping people's children. What they did in Haiti, the Clintons and all of that, taking them to the Epstein Island, like it's just disgusting. I mean, I don't see how people make excuses for these people. Then they want to act like they're the bastion of democracy and justice and fairness. I really just don't understand it. But to understand their formation and their character, I would implore everybody to go read the book Iceman Inheritance by Michael Bradley. That gives a great summary or theory of how they act the way they do, how they were formulated from their ecosystem. being coming from scarcity and the ice during their formation period of their genome. But I mean, with the average United States citizen right now, bro, it's like I'm trying to get out of this country, man. It's just sickening. These people are okay with the stuff that's going on. They justify the evil doings that the United States goes around the world perpetrating. And to me, it's just I don't care what standard of living that I've been provided with through the country. There's no justifying it. I can't sleep with myself at night knowing that I fund a country that goes around doing this stuff. So I got my exit plan. I'm getting out as soon as possible.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's one life we have, and sometimes it's worth living it with what your principles are by, because sometimes people sacrifice too much for comfort. But has there been any time in history such sordid, grisly information has emerged about their
Yes,
leadership?
brother. Again,
Okay,
wait. Take
I
your
would
time.
like to
Take your
hear
time.
it.
Anytime any empire is coming to an end, it enters into a climate of depravity. And that depravity would include all the kind of good mannerisms that we believe belong to humanity. So their sexuality, what they eat, how they conduct themselves, all these things begin to fail and fall. Right now, we are seeing President Trump marauding and forgetting any international laws. This is the beginning of an end of any cultural empire. That's what it suggests. That's what it is. So we have to understand that this is not the first time. This is not the first time. What we have
Yeah,
to
but
engage.
do you know of any first time then, or any time even? Because I know about the French Revolution, but I thought it was let them eat cake that triggered people to lose it. But which one is this sordid? This is like eating babies.
But
Well, you're
they
not
haven't.
understanding. You're
This
not
isn't new
understanding
for
one.
them though.
You're just being shocked, which is fair enough. I understand the shock.
I'm not just being shocked.
Wait.
I'm
No,
just trying
wait.
to get you to give us an example like this. I
Rome,
agree with your point, by the way. So I'm just talking about the specific
bruv,
grisliness of the,
With the
the other
certain
thing,
fraternities that they
if
have.
sorry, my brother, I beg your
Are you
pardon.
good?
Thank you, sir. The other day, I was eating a Jamaican patty, and it wasn't from a Jamaican restaurant. It was from round the corner, and it was the patty was made by Indians. So as I was eating it, and these Epstein file news was coming on, I opened the patty. I opened the patty, and I looked at it, bruh. And I thought to myself, I don't know what the fuck I'm eating. I have no idea what I'm eating. It tastes all right, but I don't know what's in here. I have no idea. So any of us that believe that we haven't engaged in the eating of human flesh, we may very well be fooling ourselves. We may very well, because they're giving it to the world. And it's happening on many levels, and it's an industry. It's an industry. Come on, guys. We can't.
You are an alarmist. First you start talking about food. Don't be talking about food when we're talking about baby eating. You're ruining food for me. Don't do that. Now you are saying we too have eaten it. You are trying to drag us into this craziness that has been going on. So see, I don't personally. I keep saying it. America is gonna go through something. And China,
but forefathers,
rubbing their hands and waiting.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you notice that all the people that we see as enemies, that they wanted us to be our enemies, that they pointed their finger and said, "These are our enemies. You run away from them." People of those countries, do you notice that none of them were in the Epstein files? None of them. Is it Putin? Is it Kim Jong-un? Is it Xi Jinping? Tell me any of them. Tell me. None of them were in the Epstein files. None of them.
You will not find the
Ayatollah
there. That would be
even Ayatollah, nothing.
Imagine they find the Ayatollah there. He was going on
there. Everything is connected.
That would be crazy. Imagine if the Ayatollah went to Epstein Island. That would be crazy.
But you could see UAE monarch all those, I think the UAE prince, he was there.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia prince, all these people, they were there. When we come and talk on this show, people see us as conspiracy theorists. Now everybody can see it now.
It's blatant.
It's a big industry.
When I said that I want to go to North Korea, I spoke to one Chinese girl in one restaurant yesterday. I was chatting with a Chinese girl. We're just chatting. And she was telling me that, and I was telling her that I would like to visit North Korea. And she was encouraging me to visit North Korea. That's a very beautiful place. I should visit Pyongyang. One place, Pyongyang. I don't know how to pronounce Pyongyang. The place is so beautiful. There's a part in China that if you go there, there's a part of China that if you go there, you can see some parts of North Korea, how beautiful it is. So we're just just, and I was like, you can never see this on CNN. They will show you that Kim Jong-un is cutting somebody's head. Or man.
Yeah, but let me share this, because I think there is something about this phenomenon that may be actually not necessarily only Western based. Maybe even North Koreans are doing this. Maybe even this in Nigerian leaders. Oh no, Nigerian leaders look like human eaters already. This is allegedly. I'm not saying this for real, especially that I'm in Nigeria. I'm not saying they eat human beings. But point is that they could, because given their antics, it's really horrible. But let me share this video about, just indulge this professor. I think Jide knows about him already. He was describing some of the phenomenon that is responsible for creating some of situation.
Okay, so these are examples of how you get people to coordinate together. The problem is that these are all obvious to people, which forces them to do the same thing. Okay? But there's a strategy that you can use that allows you to coordinate secretly and defeat all your enemies. And this strategy is called transgression. Transgression. The breaking of taboos, the breaking of social norms, the breaking of social laws. Transgression. Okay, so let's study this concept. All right, so the idea is that, the theory is that the greater you transgress, okay? This is the level of transgression. The greater your cohesion, which leads to synchronicity. Okay, that's a theory I want to propose to you. All right? So transgression, I mean, it's a very simple idea. You're breaking the rules, right? You're cheating. And therefore, everyone wants to put you in prison. Which means that the only way that you can survive is if you keep the secret among your group, right? Which forces cohesion. Does that make sense? All right? And we see this in all aspects of society, right? So the most basic form of transgression is just joking or pranking, right? So for example, you guys, 6 of you, decide, you know what, we're gonna play a joke on the school. We're going to cover all the rooms with toilet paper. It's a joke, it's a prank. But obviously, you don't want to get caught because the school will punish you. And this joke and this prank will make you more cohesive, right? Because now you have a secret amongst yourself. And if anyone betrays you, you're all screwed, right? Does that make sense? That's the logic. The other thing that's really interesting is that when you transgress, when you break a taboo, you feel empowered. You feel liberated. And it becomes addictive. Right? You fill the school with toilet paper. You're like, that was a lot of fun. Why was it fun? Because you broke the rules. You feel I'm more powerful than my teacher. So you keep on doing more and more of this stuff, right? Then you may be like, hey, let's go to the store and steal a candy. That candy may cost $1, nothing, right? But you try it and you are terrified. You're seized by doubt. You're seized by fear. Sorry, so this is the sound that tells us that we should go on break. But again, we don't go on break in this class. Okay, so I apologize. We're not taking a break. We keep on going. Okay, but that's what the sound is. Okay, so you're terrified because your mother, your teachers, everyone told you stealing is bad, right? But when you actually go and do it, how do you feel? You feel energized. You feel liberated. You feel empowered. And if your friends were with you, the friendship becomes much more unified, much more cohesive, much more synchronized. Does that make sense? And now you want to like, let's break more rules. Let's see what happens if we break more and more rules. And you keep on going because it's addictive. And ultimately, there's a transgression that is the ultimate taboo, which is what? You guys know? Yeah, right? This. Right? Can you think of a more worse transgression than this? That's why they do it. Because it feels empowering. It releases energy. They do it because they believe that when you do this, it releases divine energy. And when you actually do it, okay, guys, I'm not telling you to go do this, okay? Please do not do this, okay? And please remember, okay, this is evil. We should not be doing this. But when you actually go and do it, those who can do it, they feel as though they are now inundated, that now they are now filled with divine energy. They found the secret of the universe. They found the ultimate power in the world. Another transgression, which is not as bad, but pretty bad, is the idea of incest, right? And there are...
So as you can see, the point, the reason why I played that was that it looks like almost every society at the top of the society, if they are to hold to be cohesive, they will have a form of, from what he's saying, transgression behavior, where they do things in secret to ensure that there is mutually assured destruction if they turn against each other. So this top remains calcified. And based on my own deduction, because I reached a conclusion once that the elites in a society, they are one of the most difficult people to dislodge. This could be one of the reasons. I'm not sure why. Because every other reason doesn't seem to make sense. This could be it. Because if you look at like the French Revolution, it took a revolution to dislodge them. Russia, the same thing. Tell me any time you've dislodged, any society has dislodged their elites peacefully and calmly. It's almost an impossibility. So this could also be part of the reason, because if a rich person wanted to feel like, you know what, those things that the masses are saying is, you know, I feel it. Maybe I should put hand and support them. But because of all these ties that they have, loyalties that they have to each other, they remain the same way. They will say, no, you're not allowed to step out of line. And they have loyalties and debts to each other, all kinds of different debts to each other. So that may explain some of that. Maybe there are other fundamental factors why elites are very, very hard to dislodge. And this type of knowledge is also useful to understanding what is going to happen in South Africa. Because most those South African black people that think that, oh, somewhere along the line, the white people are going to give them that wealth, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because history suggests that that never happens. It will be the South Africans, they will be the first, that the white South Africans will be the first elites to grant so much power to the population, or at least transition their elite power to another group of elites, like black elites. They don't do that. They often hold on to it until their hand is forced to give it up. So let those South Africans that want to believe that someday the Rainbow Nation is going to actually rainbow in their direction, I'm not buying it. They're going to double down. Elites always double down. But that said, that is to the point whereby if somebody talks about food now, I think twice, you know, and according to one girl on TikTok, she said, "I would never go near cheese." She said, "What was that cheese? This is that." She said, "I would never go near that again because of the kind of things that she has read." So, but Murungaru, I wanted to ask you about it. I don't know whether you picked up on the superhuman aspect that they were discussing, because people don't pick up on that. That may be actually quite. Who knows? It may even be more important than all the other stuff we are discussing. That human beings have powers that normal people can't account for. Like they didn't describe the powers, but they are talking about how different individuals are manifesting their powers, and some of them they have to traumatize them for them to be able to display some of those powers. So I don't know whether did you read or hear any of that report regarding these people with powers that Epstein and co were discussing?
Yeah, I heard that. I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, a lot of this stuff that they put out, the files they declassify, a lot of it is just subversion. Like I take everything that they do with a grain of salt, because if for them to declassify files, they always have an agenda because they don't have to release them. There's a lot of files that they haven't declassified and they won't declassify. So if they put something in the media, it's for a reason. Because they have directed towards it.
But do they not? Don't you think that they don't have much of a choice given at this stage? Like, like what my point is that they said they were going to release it. It's not like the Kennedy file where they locked it up, or Pearl Harbor, or whatever happened, moon landing, they caged it in. This is a convicted pedophile that they've seen, and it's different. I don't know whether there's any like Jeffrey Dahmer. They decided to classify the Jeffrey Dahmer's file. No, this is a convicted pedophile. So it will be very, very hard to hold on to that information, knowing full well that that guy is a convict, and he's convicted for human trafficking and sex trafficking and all the rest. But somehow the what they call them, the perpetrators, the people that solicited all those things, none of them were convicted. So it was almost untenable for them. And remember, many Americans have seen the evidence. It's different from like, they are not allowed to speak of it. They've seen it.
But it's not the first time. Like if you go look at more CIA files, they had was an initiative that it was trying to find like people that have telepathy, and then they had a file that they were actually gaining headway, but then some years later the file it was shown that the study was inconclusive and that the people didn't have any type of power or telepathy. So to me, bro, when it comes to them the disseminated information, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I don't believe that humans have the capability to have any superpowers. I'll believe that when I see it. Like I said, I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But they seem to be talking about it factually. And to be fair, I'm not going to say I believe it too. Recently, though, there was this report that said that human beings have quite a lot of senses that we know of. We think we have 5, but in reality, there are about 30-something different senses that we have. I know scientists have discovered that some human beings can tell where there is a source of food. But that's not accurately 100% of the time, but more than 50% of the time that can be accounted for by random choice. Like they can tell that there is food there by statistical probability, or by probability. They are not supposed to get that kind of figure. Let's say 70% of the time they can tell where there is food when they shouldn't.
I believe that. That sounds biologically evolutionary, like because that's directly affects human survival. So that's just, to me, that's just evolution. I would agree with that sense. But to say humans have like telepathy and they can shapeshift, like I said, I'll believe that stuff when I see it. If I observe it, then I have no right but to say it's true. But until I see it, I don't believe it.
Does it say shape shifting? I didn't see shape shifting. No. But okay, I think it's worth me actually seeing the documents themselves to review what they're actually discussing, because if they mention shape shifting, I would find it hard to believe myself.
But what was the direct power?
They didn't say, they didn't make it clear based on the one that I heard. They didn't actually say the power. They just said this person is manifesting their powers. And I think maybe because it's an email, they don't want to be revealing everything in the email. They say this person is manifesting their power, that they are special. Candice Owen testified that Charlie Kirk is one of them that was special, alive from a young age, that they wanted to put him into a special school. And then these people, TP USA people or whatever, they came and took him and they started raising him since then. And that sometimes, according to how, I don't know whether it's real, that sometimes when he's walking on the street, the lights will be going off. So all this stuff is just words.
Is she trying to insinuate that he was making the lights go off based on him walking?
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She says his life is a Truman Show. So I don't know whether she knows for sure, but she just says that is a phenomenon that she has either heard of or seen Charlie Kirk be responsible for, or at least when he was there, such things happened. He didn't do it consciously. If he was
based on his intellect, based on the intellect that he displayed during his videos, I would be hard pressed to say he has any supernatural powers. For me, I'll say he has less than supernatural powers.
I love what Murugaru said.
Intellect, to be fair, intellect doesn't tell you anything about supernatural power. The question you have to ask is, why did they want to put him into a special school?
No.
It could all be coded language, though, as far as special powers are concerned. To me, it's just it would be hard for me to believe that someone like Charlie Kirk has anything special about them. I'm sorry, he's as mundane as it gets, in my opinion. He just got a platform.
Very well said. Very well said.
No,
you see, my brother,
have to be careful. Yes.
Oh, of course. You see, guys.
If it was Elon Musk or someone, I could.
Even him.
I wouldn't think he has superpowers either. But I mean, it would be plausible because he has an intellect and he does things that are not mundane. Charlie Kirk is he's a mundane individual in my opinion. He says nothing profound and he does nothing profound in my opinion, or when he was alive. But that's just my subjective opinion.
You see, the thing is, if I may,
very sharp and clever though. Okay,
did you take my mic away?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I see. Go on, finish your sentence, sir.
No, I will play a video of him. You see,
no. Before you play video, no. Before you play video, please, because we know the antecedents of these people.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to play the video. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to say what I think. He may not. He has bad ideas in terms of Zionists. Even when he sees something bad going on, being kind of racist towards black people. But when he is criticizing stuff when you can pick kind of have a pick at his intellect, is when he's saying stuff you support. That's when like when he was criticizing Israel about that he doesn't think this is normal that Hamas was able to attack Israel and for 5 hours or so Israel wasn't able to respond. That criticism that he gave there was one of the most brutal ones that you will hear from anywhere. He says, Israel, you can fly from one end to the other for 5 minutes. How did Israeli soldiers not emerge there within 5 hours?
To me, that's common sense, though.
But it's common sense. But how many people put it like that? That's my point.
Yeah, but to me, that's not anything spectacular from an intellect standpoint.
No, it's not.
It's not even the stuff that I disagree with. It's not even the stuff he says that I disagree with. Like when he's analyzing dynamics, he obfuscates blatant facts that everyone knows, and then but he tries to push his own agenda. To me, that's just to tell somebody that's trying to be abrasive, and he's not trying to actually present something that's factual. He's just trying to push an agenda, which to me he doesn't even do it in a witty way. It's just mundane and run of the mill, in my opinion. But that's just me.
No, you're correct. I believe if I may, you see. Well, I think I don't think we need the Epstein files to tell us that there are individuals in this world with certain powers of either intellect or of, I don't know, esoteric powers. I used to be in Spain and we used to have a cat, very nice cat. It's gone now, but very nice cat, differently. You know, when I used to work in the house, I used to work from home. And when my missus was coming home, the cat would know. And then after I witnessed this, that the cat would start purring before my missus comes, and then she comes, I thought, okay. And then when the cat began purring, I then went out on the balcony to see where my missus was. And she was nowhere to be seen until she turned the corner and I saw. And this was happening. I was just observing this thing that is so different from human being, where someone can sense that there's somebody coming. Now, that observation led me back to thoughts of Nigeria and the things that are spoken in terms of spooky Duke Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is very spooky in terms of what they suggest that happen, that people do shapeshift, and that people turn into cats and birds. That's what they say. Now, I look at this and think that power that my cat had in sensing that someone she knew was coming. I believe that human beings have these aspects within their humanity or within their being. Now, I don't think, because I was raised as a Nigerian and all these spook Madook bloody tales, I've heard them throughout my life. And believed, not believed, I didn't even know which one it was that I had in mind. But at times it was scary. And then you grow. And then you see that the world is full of spook Madook. The whole world is full of it. The living spook Madook is the television and what it puts out there and what it leads people to do. That is one thing that tells me that there is spook Madook in this world. So I don't always believe that we need to be told from the Epstein files that there are people with certain powers out there, whether it's powers of manipulating the mind, or manipulating thoughts, or it's powers that would allow a man to fly. I don't know. I've never seen it in myself, in any human being. However, it doesn't take me away from when I think about what I think in my own mind and how far my own mind can take me. Sometimes my mind will take me places. I'm not directing it there. I'm not directing it to all these places. It's just wandering. And within my wandering, I'm thinking, my goodness, what are you thinking about? Now, if these things can come into mind, I believe that they can happen. That's my position.
Okay. I also am of the opinion that, yeah, go ahead.
It's going to be a little bit off topic. I really want us to talk about Cuba and Cuba and Iran. What is actually going on right now with Cuba?
Okay, we are just going to touch on that because we are going to be rounding up in a couple of minutes. Let's give it 5-10 minutes.
Honestly,
like Iran.
Yeah, this Iran war.
The Iran war wouldn't be happening if that hippie Ayatollah wasn't putting that fatwa. He's hippie. Nobody ever, I discovered that he was hippie. I thought he was some kind of ferocious lion and everything. Only for you to come across as hippie. I can't believe it. Because if it wasn't like that, by now they would have gone nuclear and all these cases will close. They will become the North Korea of the Middle East. Or nobody disturbs and then you just leave them to their own vices. But
his fatwa did not stop them from producing a nuclear weapon.
He says they should not do it. That's the fatwa.
No, that's not my point. No, that's not. I didn't say it wasn't his fatwa. I said his fatwa did not stop Iran from achieving the nuclear weapon. So regardless of the fatwa, Iran has still, regardless of the fatwa, I'm trying to say there has been no effect on whether the fatwa it stopped Iran from having a nuclear weapon. He made a fatwa, fine. Yes, true. But this is my point. other factors, for example, the sanctions, the constant bombings, the damage of the Iranian economy have done more to stop Iran from achieving its aim of being a nuclear power than the fatwa. The fatwa did not stop Iran from enriching uranium. It didn't. So I don't know why this show keeps bringing up the fatwa.
Enriching uranium is not nuclear weapons. The nuclear
I know
weapon
that.
part, yeah, exactly. That's my point. He has, because even they can reach to 99%, but they will not use it to build bomb. So because of that fatwa, as long as the fatwa is there,
the fatwa did not stop it.
Why
the
do you keep
fatwa
saying
didn't.
you are talking as if they have nuclear weapons now?
Well, we don't even know that. But all I'm saying is, if Iran has always wanted a nuclear weapon, regardless of the fatwa, so what? But the fatwa did not preclude.
I believe that the fatwa is the reason why they don't have it.
And I believe it's not. Because if Iran,
they say based on their theological beliefs, they cannot produce nuclear weapons.
Based on the fatwa, we're saying the same thing. But I'm saying Iran still wants its hands on a nuclear weapon, regardless of whatever fatwa was put out by the Ayatollah or Ahmadinejani statements to the IAEA or the United Nations. It doesn't matter. Iran today wants a nuclear weapon. If Iran had its hand on nuclear technology right now, or had its hands on technology that could place bombs on a warhead that could travel intercontinentally or even 5,000 miles away, you think Iran would say, well, the Ayatollah made a fatwa, we don't want the bomb? You think that's what's going to happen?
I'm beginning to believe that. The reason why I'm beginning to believe that is because they've had enough time compared to all the other people that went nuclear to figure out a way, even when they are being sanctioned. It's not only them that were sanctioned, including Pakistan and North Korea. They were all sanctioned and they went.
Do you understand how Pakistan got its nuclear weapon?
Yeah, I know about that. Let me just explain something to you about the Ayatollah's this thing. My belief is that if the Ayatollah sticks to that position and the top brasses, the IRGC, I don't know what they are called, they fear that, that this stuff is going to kill them, they might overthrow him and go nuclear themselves.
Oh my God, what are you talking about?
I don't know whether they could. I feel like they could. If they feel like America is going to destroy them or Israel is going to destroy them, and this guy is just insisting that they should not go nuclear, because it will be hard for them to go nuclear weapon when because remember, he's a religious leader. He's not just
for who? He's a religious leader for Iranians, okay? And he's symbolic. Even the Ayatollah can be replaced. Okay. He's even symbolic. All right. So if the IRGC, what the Iranian government has known since '79 is that it is living second to second. The Iranian government has always known that if Israel and the West had the slightest opportunity, they would destroy them, erase them from the face of the earth. So, therefore, they have always been in the position that their survival the next second was not guaranteed. This has always been their position. So it is not now that they'll say, well, we don't know if we're going to get blown up, so we need to. No, they always needed this thing because the end goal from '79 till now, and even if, let me say one thing right now, even if it wasn't the Iranian, the Islamic government in charge right now, even if it wasn't, the goal of Zionism has always been to destroy Iran. It doesn't matter who was there. It could have been the Shah. It could have been Bob Marley. Where we are at right now is where we will still have been at. So the goal has always been to destroy anybody that could be a force in the Middle East and challenge Israel's power in that region.
In terms of challenging Israel's power, I can understand Israel wanting to dominate the region. I'm not sure I'm going to disagree with you on that. But the area we have a little bit of difference is about this nuclear technology in Iran. I reiterated my point. If he carries on the way he's carrying on, if you hear that there is a coup in Iran, don't assume it's going to be for Western powers. I'll be watching the coup plotter and thinking, why did they do this? Because that leader is a leader of all Shiites. It's like the Pope making a pronouncement, a declaration, and you go and find out that he's doing
something. You're talking to a Muslim.
I don't see that happening.
So to also clarify, if there will be a coup in Iran, it's gonna be the Revolutionary Guard itself, not even the internal. Yeah, it's not even gonna be like
that's my suspicion, and it's gonna be for the reason that guy is endangering them all their lives. That
but it's not good. Okay, if Iran, if it was the fatwa. Right, because we're going back to the fatwa issue. And that is just the official statement. But if it was the fatwa, how come Iran has a nuclear enrichment facility in the middle of the desert that Donald Trump supposedly obliterated a few months ago? Why are they enriching uranium in secret? Why do they have all these underground facilities with Russian workers? Why is Israel adamant on eliminating Iran's top nuclear scientists? Because they want to produce electricity or because they want to use them for medical research? No, it's because Iran is actively looking for a way to have nuclear weapons. Forget about whatever statements they make out there. If Iran, every nation in the Middle East today needs nuclear weapons. The Saudis want it. They have it on the tip of their fingers. They just say, if we are in trouble, we call it Pakistan. If Iran gets it, we call it Pakistan. So the major powers in the Middle East, Israel has approximately 90 to 400 warheads. We don't know. Iran wants it. Saudi Arabia is going to get it if one more person gets it, namely Iran. And Iran, let's not be shocked if Iran comes out tomorrow and say they have it. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked for 1 second.
The only part that will shock me is that the Ayatollah will lose some face because,
Ayatollah will lose face to who? You?
Yeah, to his followers now. I thought they were...
What are you even talking about? Come on, let's move this conversation over.
What do you mean? What am I talking about? You are a Muslim and you don't seem to understand that he's a religious leader.
I don't seem to understand. I seem to understand that he's not going to lose face. If Iran comes out with a nuclear weapon right now, Shiites all over the world are going to be happy. Matter of fact, even non-Shiites are going to be happy.
Yes, I mean, in addition to that, what I'm thinking may happen is that when they have nuclear weapons, they will keep it secret. So there's a possibility that maybe they have it, but it is in secret.
They have to keep it secret, not only for their own sake, for the sake that if they reveal it, Saudi Arabia will go nuclear, Egypt will want to go nuclear, Turkey will want to go nuclear. So for that reason, they could keep it secret. And I also think maybe that is the reason for the fatwa in the first place. Not necessarily because he didn't have the ambition, but he knows the consequence of doing that will cascade into the other Middle Eastern states too. But we don't know. All this is speculation. But I truly believe that guy is the reason, because if you have been attacked from 1979, you said it yourself that they are living from second to second. You would think that fatwa wouldn't be there. They will want to.
Or you would think that a better way to get the world on your side and the IAEA off your back and the United Nations on your back and every other nuclear proliferation inspection committees on your side will be to say, officially, we don't want a nuclear weapon. Just like officially, Israel has no nuclear weapon. I think you're paying too much attention to wordplay. Anybody can say anything.
No, you can say that, but you don't have to pass a fatwa. That's my point. You can say that. You don't have to pay fatwa.
Why not?
Because fatwa has implication that it's a religious kind of statement.
You'll stop.
No, now come on.
But that would make it more believable, though.
Yeah,
to the outside looking from the outside looking in.
Exactly, it's a religious oath to make it believable. But in other words, if you are found to be lying, it's going to undermine the very top of the religion for lying. Based on
it's going to undermine what religion? What are you even talking about, bro?
Yeah, but to your point, I mean, if they get the weapon, all is going to be forgiven. Like that at the end of the day. So even if he goes against the fatwa, if they have the nuclear arsenal, if they end up getting a nuclear arsenal, then that all will be forgiven because that's their survival based upon a religious decree. So
they don't care, bro. Right now they are on the precipice of extinction. If the United States and Israel succeed in their aims right now, Iran will cease to exist. A civilization that has been in existence for tens of thousands of years is going to be broken down into pieces. This is what America wants. This is what Benjamin Netanyahu, Miriam Adelson, and the rest of this crazy Zionists want right now. So what is a fatwa when our existence is in peril? They need that nuclear weapon.
Sometimes the way you talk, sometimes I really wish you couch it in the way many nations behave that are going nuclear. A nation that wants to go nuclear, their attitude, all they want to do, okay, let me qualify it. All the nations that I've seen so far, study their history that went nuclear, their attitude, this is not their attitude. Their attitude. They are going headlong towards it. Their job is stop us if you can. That's
bro. Hold on, everybody. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Bubre, I just want to tell you, to be honest, Father is right. There was a very strong fatwa in Iran not to create nuclear weapons. This is a fact.
We know this. I'm saying it has no implication in reality. If we're being realistic, right? We all agree there was a fatwa. I'm saying he's saying that is the main reason they never created the nuclear weapon.
That's the reason.
Initially, yes. Initially.
And also, the secret services that have investigated Iran have said there's no sign they are looking to go in that direction. That's what made me call him a hippie.
We all agree on that. The IAEA has not found any violations on the part of Iran. US intelligence hasn't either. The only people making a brouhaha are the Israelis, sometimes MI6, which, for all we know, considering Libya and Iraq, they could be giving out false information, more likely than not. But that is not my position. My position is that the fatwa is not the precluding factor of Iran getting a nuclear weapon. In the beginning, yes. Right now, no, because Iran knows and is actively looking for it. They've looked at Libya, giving up its chemical weapons. They see what happened. They've looked at Iraq, Saddam giving up his plans for nukes. What happened to him? Now they're looking at themselves and seeing what is happening to them, because they do not have that deterrent factor, which is the nukes. And the Ayatollah's fatwa is not the reason why they are not building. They want it, they need it. And if they could get it,
why? Hold on. Tell me, what is the reason why?
you keep telling you to hold on, Katsu.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question now. What is the reason why there is no sign they are even learning or trying to even head in the direction of nuclear weapons? Why? Maybe they're very
secretive. Maybe they're very secretive. Maybe they have, maybe. Yes. Maybe the same way Israel, maybe the same way Israel miscalculated Iran's capabilities in the 12-day war is what is going on now. What about that? You don't know that. We don't know that. So, but to think that the people in Iran right now in Tehran are sitting down, relax and say, yeah, let's just obey fatwa, even though these people are sanctioning us to death, even though they at will they kill our scientists, at will they kill our top generals, at will they bomb us, at will they destabilize our society, knowing that if we had this bomb right now, they're not coming close to us. You think if fatwa is stopping them? Man, drink some milk, bro.
Because I've told you before, all the countries that I've seen that have gone nuclear, their attitude is catch us if you can, stop us if you can. That's the attitude. Israel did the same thing, China did the same thing, Pakistan did the same thing, India did the same. Don't go there. They don't care. Once you get to a point whereby you feel like you need to go nuclear, you don't care anymore.
No, why do you always bring up? Why do you always bring up different scenarios? How did Israel under sanctions when it was looking for its nuclear weapons? Was China under sanctions? Was China being attacked by its neighbor? What about Israel?
Yes,
China was being attacked every day by its neighbors, and the scientists. Oh, really?
Yeah.
China was being bombed by its neighbors, or its scientists were being killed, or the CIA was causing internal strife. My point is, scenarios are different. That is my point.
See,
to say, you just go full scale ahead. Oh boy, it keeps shutting.
Actually, let me say something now. Let me say something.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead, sorry.
China, they were looking to nuke China. Like America was saying they were going to nuke China because China wants to go nuclear. China didn't stop. This is, if you knew this history, you will know that nations that want to go nuclear, they don't let anything stop them. Do you know that China had a massive embargo against them? That the Chinese had to do trade by barter. You don't. I'm not even sure you know about this history.
Let me add something to this.
Look at this crazy doctor.
Let me add something to this, please. Okay, first of all, so
we're going to be closing soon, actually, because you came in very.
It's normal. You got to close. It's okay. How is Nigeria though? How are your wives then? I hope they are all fine.
I don't know why people just keep giving me wives left and right because I'm for polygamy.
I'm gonna give you a wife for my village for sure. You are in Nigeria.
You know, but Nigeria. Oh my God, Nigeria is. Oh my God. Okay, being in Nigeria is good.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of things that need changing, and the people themselves. Everything we'll be talking here, I'm seeing it happen in the real world. In the real world, the Nigerian people themselves have issues. They need to sort themselves out a lot. And some of the things you see here, you can say that because I've been in the West, I come here, my mannerism and things are different. People just drop things anywhere they like. No beans, no nothing. So, you see all those things. You can see why the nation is the way it is. Literally. You can literally see it in almost everybody. Even the ones that like to think that they are law-abiding in Nigeria. They still do things that are keeping the country.
Nobody is law-abiding in Nigeria, for father. Trust me.
That's what I see.
The problem is general. This is the truth. Nobody is law-abiding. Don't listen to anybody.
It's just one of those.
So let me tell you, Nigeria is a place where you even break the law. You don't even know you are breaking the law. I'll give you an example. Well, growing up in Nigeria, we used to give money bribe. Like, you go to do something, the person in the office wants you to bring 200 naira, for example. You give to them, but you don't even know it's bribe, really. But it's bribe. You're not going to look at it as bribe, but that's what it is.
Exactly.
Bless me. When I go to abroad, in abroad, like you even tell somebody you go to an office, they get something done for you. You're like, oh, thank you. It's more like, why are you thanking me? It's my job.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I've not met one person like that. And you see people, they will take on jobs that they cannot do. They will take on jobs that they will just keep postponing and postponing because they are everybody, nobody has limits. It's like it's crazy. They can't tell you one thing and stick to it. They will always change. Just talk stories. They frustrate each other. I'm telling you, man.
Not only that, evil. Yeah, you watch people on this channel alone. You see somebody, you see red, he's calling it black. Nigeria is a very difficult place. Especially when you live in abroad for a long time. Trust me, it's very difficult. You are gonna deal with this kind. If that's why setting up business in Nigeria, they are gonna frustrate you to the extent that your hair will
Oh my God. If you set up business in Nigeria, you're not on the ground. Oh my God, you really have to be very careful because one of the things you have to notice is that they don't have, like when you look at like the West now, a Western person can buy a mobile phone, they will maintain it for years. But Nigeria, they will treat it like trash. They will get this one, change it tomorrow, get it another one, or even a battery. A Western person, let's say that battery is rechargeable and is meant to last for 500 cycles. A Western person will do it like that. But in Nigeria, it will barely last, let's say, 30 or 40 cycles. They will ruin it. So it's like we don't value things to an extent. I don't know. Maybe the reason why we don't value things, we don't think we're going to end up anywhere.
We don't even have respect for money.
Exactly. We don't seem to value
things. We don't have respect. We don't value things.
We don't even value life. Isn't that why we sold them?
That's what is happening now. Now you see the killing going on. If we value life, why would people be dying like this? How come mad people go to a village, kill hundreds of people? Like,
burning people inside their houses. Like some people that lock themselves inside their houses, they burn them. Oh my God, those people,
To me, as far as I'm concerned, is madness of the highest order. Like there is nothing you call it. You see.
No mercy for such
just that
no mercy.
It's just that the government may fail. To be honest, if I'm in charge of, just look for where these people are in the forest, bomb the shit out of, bomb all of them.
They didn't do anything to them, just because they didn't sign up with you. You go and do that to them.
Evil. They said they wrote a letter to that community, right? Honestly, I will really blame the government on this foolishness going on in Nigeria. That's why, for me, I don't want to reduce this. The other thing, we, the people, we divide ourselves. Oh, it's Christian genocide, it's Muslim genocide, it's whatever genocide. This does not matter. It's just that the government are not responsible. All you need to do is to, whoever is involved in this, crush them. There is no two ways. Because if you don't, you are giving them power to go and buy people the way they are doing now.
Yeah, I'll be having a lot of conversations with people in Nigeria, like Hausas, and even in Northern that is not Hausa. I was having a conversation with them. The North is very complicated, you know. People don't necessarily understand how complicated the North is. There are many people that are Christians in the North that are not Hausa even.
Non-Hausa a lot. People don't know. Because they speak one language, people tend to think it's just one. Every time, people think it's just one. It's not.
I asked one of them.
It's very complicated.
I asked one of them, how is it being a Christian in the North? He says very, very hard. Very, very hard. You see, now that is something that is different. If you ask a Muslim, how is it being a Muslim in the South? They will not tell you very, very hard. Maybe they will tell you maybe they drink a lot, but that's it. They don't tell you very, very hard. So you see the difference there. This is the issue that sometimes I have with you sometimes, where I say, there is a difference. The coloration and the nature of the atmosphere on both regions, there's a slight difference. And
that makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense. Let me interject. Between,
you know what, we have to.
Unfortunately, that is sad, but let's take things in perspective when we make statements like this. First of all, you ask only one person. And I would expect by any metric based on everything that's happening in Nigeria today, you would have to categorize it as hard being a Christian. But why do we always do this north-south thing when we talk about religion, forgetting that Islam actually came into the South way before Christianity? So nobody's doing Muslims a favor.
That is not the point. I'm just saying that.
But I said, why do we keep making that statement?
Because it's relevant, isn't it? Like if you're in the South, as a Muslim, and they ask you, is it difficult being a Muslim in the South? If you ask 10, my impression today is that 8 will tell you it's not. 2 may tell you it is, and it's
okay. So that goes back again. I don't know which. That goes back again to my statement. Again, that goes back again. That goes back to my statement that why do we always do this thing where it is difficult to live as a Christian in the North because of all the terrorism going on? True, but why is it being made as if the Muslims in the South are being done a favor by having a peaceful life? And my point to you, my position is Islam actually did come into the South of Nigeria way before Christianity. That is what I said it already.
I get where you are coming from. You are thinking that I'm saying it from the point of view that the Christians in the South are doing the Muslims a favor. No.
But that's the implication. When you say things like that, that's what you imply.
That's not what I'm looking at it. The way I'm looking at it is that's how we are supposed to. That's the minimum you can do, given the state of our nation. That's what.
No, that's not the minimum. What the minimum we can do is say there should be peace all over the country. That's the minimum we can do. Not saying, well, it's difficult for the Christians in the North, but look, you're having life easy in the South. You're not having life easy in the South. Islam had always been in the South. So there's no favor. You can't say calm down. Each time I try to say something, you try to shut me down when it comes to pertinent issues like this. No, so my point is let's be careful when we make certain statements like this. Nigeria is not divided into a North and South Muslim or Christian dichotomy. Let's start feeding into Western. Let's start feeding into Western characterizations of that nation. What it does is further breed division. So the reality.
You're just blocking talk now. See, you see this kind of attitude. You are not elevating your position in any way, because the reality is that I asked somebody, the person confirmed my already held kind of opinion based on a lot of evidence of people coming. The Deborah didn't happen out of my dreams. It's real.
You're biased. I don't know why you're bringing Deborah. You're biased. You're biased.
Calm down. See, calm down. Deborah didn't happen
let's take it easy. Let's have the discussion.
Yeah, you have to be. No, we're not having the discussion.
No, small. It's okay. We are listening to you.
It's something he doesn't want. That's why he'll keep shutting me down. He doesn't want that discussion.
No.
North, South. The Muslims are having it easy in the South.
What? We've gone over time. See, I wish we could have this conversation. But this is not the day for it. I'm sorry. But I was just saying because AY was asking me about my experience in Nigeria. So when I have a driver, I tend to ask them questions to get an idea. And this guy was from Gombe, and he was giving us an idea of what he felt like. And he had a Christian name. That's a name that is not necessarily Islamic. So when I asked him how is it being a Christian in the North, he didn't hold back. You can see the passion with which he was saying it. So, and that is what I'm trying to highlight. And what if it is true? Based on the information that we keep getting, what if it is true it's harder in the North to be a Christian?
What do you mean, what if it is true? My whole statement, try not to interrupt me. So my whole statement preceding me going into the point, and there are 5 of us on here, was that looking at Nigeria, it is not disputed that characterizing living in the North as a Christian, again, listen, is hard. There's nothing wrong with that statement. What do you mean? What if it's true? It is true.
Okay.
That living in the Christian North, yes, that's fine. But guess where it's not fine for you? saying there's no favors being done for the Muslims living peacefully in the South. And I think Nigerians need to stop making that statement. I see it online all the time saying, well, there's peace for the Christians have it tough in the North. Yes, I agree. But but in the South, the Muslims, but in the South, the Muslims are having it easy, which is not what we should be saying. Because if we're trying to say it as if the Muslims in the South are being done a favor, guess what? Islam came into the south of Nigeria, at least the western side of Nigeria, centuries before Christianity came in. So they're not being done a favor. What we should be pushing instead of this north-south thing is there should be peace all over the country. Don't stop telling me to calm down. I'm not calm.
You keep fighting me as if we are fighting. Most of the
Papa, let me say something too now.
I don't know why you're arguing with me.
So I just joined. You want to close the platform? You let me speak.
Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. The moment you finish talking, I have to close out because they will roll me. They will roll me over a coal for staying this long. Please, once you finish talking, we round up. Thank you.
Look, you see, Jaguna, I was greeting you today. You ignore me. I'm not the problem of Nigeria, Jago.
Why? I didn't even know you. I didn't understand. I didn't know that you were greeting me. Sometimes I don't read. Sometimes I don't read this thing, but I don't read them all the time.
Okay, no problem. You see,
how are you, AY?
I'm good. I'm surviving, man.
That's right.
I'm surviving with Trump madness.
You see,
it's not easy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Are you going to have another session, or is this it?
And this is it now. I'm in Nigeria now. You know,
no,
I see. Okay.
You know, someone that got a lot of wives in Nigeria, will not have that time.
Data is expensive. So I don't even know how I'm on right now, man. I'm not even. It seems to be working better now, but it's okay. Finish your point, please.
Yeah, it's really good. The issue you guys are discussing, you see, this religious thing is very frustrating, to be honest. You know, the way we've taken this issue, no humanity, is very frustrating. There are Muslims, the way you have Muslims that are fanatics, you have Christians that are fanatics. They don't even want to say Muslim. This is actually a fact, both in the south and the north. But however, I think it's also the failure of the government in general. We don't have laws that protect the citizen, because whatever people that don't even believe in God at all, they are not going to live in the society. Know what I mean? So we need to have laws that will protect Nigerians, irrespective. It doesn't matter what you believe in, you know, as long as you are not.
Yeah, father of the nation is busy doing his fatherly jobs. And look at that.
As long as you are not disturbing the public or harming your neighbor, you know. But this kind of thing we see now in the north, especially, you know, this killing going on. The Nigerian intelligence, I don't know what they are doing, because I feel there is a lot going on in Nigeria that people don't know. Because when you really table all this issue, you see the killing on both sides, either Christian, Muslim, is high. You can imagine what Boko Haram have done for more than 10 years. These mad people also coming up, what they call them, the Gararawa, or whatever they call them in the south, in Ilori, different foolish group. Yeah, it's very frustrating, you know. Just go to people community, burn them down, go to Benue, burn. I don't know. For me, I'm a Muslim. Fulani herdsmen, Fulani jihadis, whatever they call the terrorists, they are not fighting for me. I don't know. They are not considered them Muslims. Whoever want to consider Muslim, that's his business. To be honest, they can burn in hell, because Islam does not give you any right. Does not in Islam, life is sacred. So they are gonna burn in hell for sure, because you can't be destroyed, burning people alive. No. Okay, I'll give you an example. Islamically, even during war, you can't touch women, you can't touch children. You cannot. Even during war, but combatant war, you cannot touch children. You can't even destroy plants. That is what I wanted to tell you now, Forefather. Like the issue, the part of the reason why Khomeini passed fatwa for nuclear weapon in Iran, that's part of the reason, because it's very destructive. There is no Islamic backing etiquette that we.
Do you think these guys care?
Hold on,
everything you say, you think they care?
Just let me say, you can use it as a deterrent, but you cannot, Islamically, you cannot even use that weapon on human, on anywhere, on human being. You cannot. This is the truth. Go and do your research, confirm. But when you have it, yeah, nuclear weapons generally serve as deterrent. I don't see what people are using it for. But if I were Iran, I was in that position, oh, for sure, man, I'm going to push for it. Because I believe 10, 20 years ago, if Iran has really pushed for this, by now, they will be good, man. Trump will not bring that Armada, whatever they call it. If you're not even close to your border, man, he will not. You think Trump can bully North Korea, Kim Jong-un like that? No, you can't do that. You can't try that with Russia, because you're going to.
I actually think that if Iran had gone nuclear, there would have been Israeli-Palestinian peace deal by now.
Peace, straight up. So
would have been.
Why are you stopping people from having it? If Nigeria can have it now, will be. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. You think if Ukraine have nuclear weapon, you think Russia will ever throw a bullet inside Ukraine? They will not do it. They gave up this thing because they were no foresight. Because sincerely, I will tell you, come and take all my resources, take all of them, and leave this one for me. Come on, I will start from scratch, bro. I will start from scratch. Nothing more.
Yeah.
If Ukraine had nuclear weapon, trust me, Russia will not even throw a bullet. They know everybody will go now. So who want to go? You see, India and Pakistan, they can only make noise. They're not gonna fight. They're not going to war because somebody is gonna.
Mutual assured now.
Yeah. So for me, where the world is going, if you can have it, man. Have it to protect your people. I can imagine if the continent of Africa, let's just have some nuclear weapon that will even protect the whole of Africa. We are here fighting for tribe, fighting for foolish things. You know?
Exactly.
So that's the way I see it. We gotta, it's real. The world is, the fight is real, man. We gotta look for a way to secure ourselves. Otherwise, nothing happens.
You know, I think clearly there are enemies of progress that have been forged against me, because I wanted to close the other time you come, then I wanted to close again. Now Jefferson is backstage, and Jefferson, you're enemy of progress, because you hear me. All this was said I want to close, and you choose that you want to come, so that when they have a meeting, I'm the one that you're going to be talking about breaking the rules. I'm not going to break the rules. I'm sorry, Jefferson. If you are going to say one thing, 1 minute, I will let you say your piece and you go, because I'm not going to get into trouble. And
bring Jefferson, and then when you go to that meeting, you just bring Jefferson's name.
Give me 1 minute like that.
1 minute that I go.
1 minute like that.
Yeah, you're going to give you 1 minute, because it's 57 now. I don't want you to eat for 4 hours. At least I can say it's less than 3 hours. So say your piece, and as you finish speaking, I will just end it. Please go ahead.
So are we talking about what we discussed in the afternoon, or just
you can wish Nigerians farewell, Nigerians are suffering people, and I'm in Nigeria right now, all the hardship you can say whatever you want to say. You can talk about the troops in Nigeria, Epstein file, but give it 2 minutes. 2 minutes you've got. Less than 2 minutes now, by the way.
No, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. First of all, forefathers, it's good that you're actually in Nigeria. Like this our favorite. This one of our artists, Idris, the guy that sang "Everybody Jaga Jaga." He says,
Idris Abdul Karim,
of every Nigerian. The guy is the realist, because the guy know it in the Siam. When this guy took in, he made a song about the administration. And funny enough, just like Fela, he's a Yoruba guy, and it's not about tribe anyways. So injustice to one is injustice to all. So basically, what we're all fighting for here is we need a step in the right direction. As it is now, let us tell ourselves the truth. Our leaders are messing up big time. They are not doing the right thing. It's so obvious. All this lobbying and trying to do. Look, at the end of the day, when you say Africa is a great continent, we have the potential. It is actually me and you making the decisions. Me and you making the decision to do what is right. You know, we must not copy every single thing by the playbook. You get brain, I get brain. We put the chop pizza. We should chop